Very good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Masters. Monday night is your home of 8-ball pool on Free Sports. Week 6 of the competition and 4 more top players vying for a place in the last 16. Only one will advance through from tonight's competition. Stephen Jameson and Simon Webb with you. As ever, almost forgot my own name there, Simon. So excited. Can't wait for this one. And if you're new to the show and you haven't been watching for the previous 5 weeks, it's a unique tournament, a pretty special format as well. Here's everything that you need to know to get you clued in. The Ultimate Pool Masters brings together the best players around and puts them to the ultimate test. 64 players start with 16 groups of 4. Each night, 4 players will be featured with 2 semi-finals and a final, with 1 player advancing through the group into the next stage. Once we're through to the last 16, we'll have 4 more 4-to-1 format nights, leaving us ultimately with our final 4. Then, on finals night, we have 2 semi-finals and our grand final to crown the winner. The matches themselves are set to a 50-minute match clock. It's a race to 8 frames or 0 on the clock, whichever comes first. A 45-second shot clock is in operation, with the final 10 minutes introducing a 15-second shot clock, where only the quick thinking will survive. If a match is tied as the clock runs out, a 6-red shootout will decide the winner. We're playing international 8-ball rules, so a foul introduces cue ball in hand for your opponent, but the basic premise remains the same. Pick a colour set, pot your balls, then pot the 8-ball. There's £20,000 in the prize pot, and at the end of it all, the winner will pocket 10 grand, a worthy prize for a marathon event. Welcome to the Ultimate Pool Masters. So there's the format. Hopefully that one all makes sense for you. As I say, Stephen and Simon with you once again here on Monday. And Si, another great lineup for you. We will say that for all 16 weeks, I'm absolutely sure. But for week number 6, another interesting lineup, another lineup where you could realistically have any one of these 4 players winning, and it wouldn't be a huge surprise. This is competitive.
Yeah, very, very competitive group. It's intriguing to see how this one unfolds. We've got a couple of really good matchups in the first stage, the first 2 matches tonight, where there is going to be a favourite in those matches, but it would be no surprise to see their opponents come up and win the match. So, yeah, really a lineup I've been looking forward to right from the start, really. Yeah,
great games in prospect, great tournament already. Remember, they're all vying for a spot in that last 16. 4 players tonight, 2 matches to go into tonight's final, and the winner of that will go through into the last 16. As we've already seen, so the 5 players that are already through, the standard for that last 16 is going to be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, the strength of depth in the pool world is incredible, and we're seeing that in this tournament. The names in the event, the 64 players we have, and that means that going into the last 16 is just going to be such a strong lineup. It's incredible to see the names we have in there already, and we have some major big names coming in later in the event as well.
Yeah, we've barely even got started, ladies and gents. Should be a great competition. Into week 6 we go then. It's time for our first match. Let's meet our first 2 players. It's Morgan McInnes and Sam Bircher. Well, there they are, Morgan McInnes and Sam Bircher. A great match in prospects here. If the name McInnes is familiar to you, there's good reason for that. There is Morgan, son of the senior McInnes, who's world famous really in the pool world. So a man I know that you know really, really well, and his son's not a bad player either.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how he goes, not just tonight, but over the next few years. He's relatively new to the game, been playing just for a few years, but yeah, following in the footsteps of his dad, and that can be quite a tough thing to do at times, but so far so good for Morgan. Had a very good junior career or under 23 career, but he's up against it tonight. Sam is sort of quietly a very, very solid player, sort of player that you see in a tournament, and he just goes about his business and goes through, and he gets deep in a lot of tournaments and catches quite a few players out. So a player that is certainly going by the bookies a favourite for tonight's or this match.
Yeah, we've got two big favourites tonight, but as we mentioned at the top of the show, really wouldn't be surprised to see either of the underdogs in these two, tonight semi-finals as they were, progress. We've got Morgan McInnes here against Sam Bircher. We've got Martin McIntosh against Dave McNamara a little bit later on. McNamara the big favourite in that one, at least with the bookies, but anything can really happen. This is, I think, the closer match on paper.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that, but interesting that the bookies couldn't split Sam and David for the player to go through, but I could certainly make a case for all four players. That's a very evenly balanced lineup for me. It is Sam with his first opportunity, and key positional shot required, just getting onto the 8-ball. I think there's more room there than it really looks on our screen. He's coming around to have a look now, and he just needs to make sure he leaves the right angle on that last yellow to make sure he can get past the reds to be onto the 8-ball. Doesn't want any complications to get in the way.
Yeah, you mentioned he does well in quietly going about his business on in tournaments. He's quietly gone about his business in this first frame. Mopped up these yellows in no time at all. This is the key shot then. Yellow onto 8-ball. Needs to get this one right, because if he's a fraction out, it's end of visit and probably the loss of the frame as well. It's all on this shot right here for Sam Bircher.
I'm not sure that's the shot. Just going by body language, difficult to tell. No, he's fine. There is room.
Nicely done for Sam Bircher. Goes 1-0 up in no time at all in this race to 8, or a race to 50 minutes, whichever one comes first. Haven't been too many who've won the race to 8. We've generally gone to 0 on the clock, which has kept matches alive for a long portion of time. Sam Bircher, a really solid player, as we see here from Wolverhampton. 2015 Golden Q singles champion. Knocked out Phil Harrison in the first round of that. Two-time UK Tour runner-up as well as a Staffordshire Open winner. And Staffordshire that is the county when it comes to 8-ball pool, it seems, in the UK. That's some competition to win.
Yeah,
let
me tell you. In the area for sure. But Sam really is a player that probably doesn't get picked out too often at starts of tournaments, but he's so often you see his name there at the latter end.
White ball got thrown around a bit there, but he's all right. And this is an interesting setup from this break, I tell you. Gets a pretty good explosion out the pack. And either colour set is an absolute gimme, really, apart from this bottom left, which is just causing him a bit of a headache. That red and yellow together, I don't think he can access the yellow because of the red, and he certainly can't access the red because of the yellow. Figure that out and he wins the frame, because the rest of the balls are all there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the yellows are the easier ball to solve for that little area, because he can play a 3-ball plant if required. I think there is gaps between those balls, but it is makeable. But he's going straight into it.
Yellow balls in play.
Just a little bit unlucky. If he'd caught that off the second cushion, it would have been absolutely perfect. But he's got an opportunity to go back into that area. I think he'd love to flick the red. You could just see where he's pointing the red there. He'd love to catch it quarter ball, or even just a fraction thinner. That's perfect. What a lovely shot. Now it's just about working out that route. You've got all the work done. The one by the 8-ball, unless that goes into the right centre, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't, then it could become a slight problem, because all those reds in the middle of the table are just kind of blockers. You could get stuck behind them, so he has to still be careful here.
Yeah, just every inch of his frame there, Sam Bircher. Not the tallest player, really stretching. He's done well.
So the way he's going about this, that yellow by the 8 ball is going to be his last ball, and he's just coming around to have a look at that gap. And okay, it's a foot wide, but you just want to make sure. He's having a quick look at this angle, because at first glance that angle does not look good. He may have to just drop this in and play from distance. If he comes backwards, it looks like he's going to be coming back towards the sort of left-hand side of the table. He needed the cue ball there to be a good 3-4 inches further left.
Yeah, you can see where he just left his cue. That's exactly where he wanted to leave the cue ball. He's a long way off that.
Just wondering if he's going to try and use the top cushion, but I worry when you try and use the top cushion there, you could end up flicking the red. He used to cue this one nicely. He was able, there was just enough room there. Pinch a little bit of that pocket and leave himself from distance.
Oh, once again, this is the key shot. Yellow onto 8 ball. It's the same story as it was in the first frame. All comes down to this one shot for Sam Bircher. Morgan McInnes not had much of a look in so far. A dry break to open proceedings, and since then hasn't touched the table. This to go 2-0 up. Oh, played that lovely. Impeccable cueing. Simple 8 ball, simple finish in the end for Sam Bircher. He goes 2-zip to the goods. Morgan McInnes with some work to do. There he is, the man from Dunfermline. Very much not 16, but not too much older than that, mind. He is the Under-23 World Championship bronze medalist. Went to the semis in that event and won the battle for the bronze medal. Under-23 team champion. That Scottish team is always so ferocious, whether it be senior level or junior level. World team champion, European team champion, Under-23 level.
Yeah, and he is just coming up on his 24th birthday. Share a birthday with Morgan, something in common. But he's on the board here, or he's at least getting his first taste of playing on the table, having been frozen out for the last 2 frames. Important that he takes these out, but you say that without really looking at the table. This isn't a nice table to be going at when you've just had to sit and watch the first 2 be cleared from the break. These are awkward. He's got 45 seconds and an extension if he wants it, so he's just going to work out which way he wants to go. I think if the yellow at the top of the table goes past the red or off the red in a way, then I think I like yellows, assuming the yellow in the triangle area goes. The reason I say that, I think that red at the top is difficult to solve. Well, yellows is his choice, and he is on this one at the bottom of the table first, so it is all about that cluster of 3, top right-hand corner. I think the one in the middle of the table does go to the right centre.
Well, that's a clever little shot just to open up the 8 ball on the yellow, but foul given. think he caught the red just before. Close.
Yeah, I thought this live. Just the reaction of the cue ball just told me it went to. It was just red first, and credit to Morgan there. He called it on himself very quickly. He was walked straight back to his chair in frustration. Not what he wanted at all.
As you mentioned at the top of the show, the son of the great Ross McInnes, who's travelled down with his son today We're practicing together. It's a great practice partner to have, isn't it?
It is. I don't know how much time they work together or not on the game, but yeah, if they ever need some advice or something to work on the game with, then yeah, Ross is the perfect person.
We were having a laugh earlier because reminiscing about the time when they drew each other in a tournament, shut down the entire tournament. Everyone wanted to watch that game.
Yeah, I'd like to watch that one too.
Ross was saying how he has to approach games differently now when he plays his son. Has to tap break, because if he goes open table, he hasn't got a hopes. Takes him on pot for pot. That's how much he rates him.
Yeah, no, he's a very good young player.
But so is this man, Sam Bircher, far from, seasoned veteran. Still not particularly old himself. But has been playing the game at a good level for a good long time at this stage.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference at this stage in their careers. Okay, there may only be a year or so between them. I think Sam's a little under a year older, but he's had a bit more experience at the top level. But Morgan's certainly tracking in the right direction. This is his first match on TV though, and it's not got off to the best start, partly because Sam's put him under so much pressure.
Sam put that middle pocket under pressure there, playing into it with such pace. It's not come out ideal. This does go to the top left, but getting onto the red on the rail isn't the easiest from here, because I think he's slightly the wrong angle to just drop in behind it. Might be able to force something, but this is a tough shot. Oh, he's played that so well. He's played that so well.
It was so easy to clip the red there and end up on nothing. He's judged that really well. He almost pinched the pocket just a fraction, just to make sure the cue ball came down on the right angle. And he doesn't have to worry. Okay, he can't get the cue ball off the cushion very easily here, but all he needs to do is just bring it back an inch or so, and he's got a tough 8-ball to that top left. He may screw back for it in the centre.
Just saying, he looked like he was going to, and he's played that. This table is responsive mind, and he's left himself horrible cueing. Well, I think he'd be grateful that he's already got 2 frames on the board here. This is a tough 8-ball now.
I still think it's a good choice, though. I think this is still easier than the 8-ball to the top left. If he had just stunned that one in and left it top left, he would have. I think that would have been a harder shot than this one.
I don't disagree. Never in doubt, was it? Never in doubt. Tough score this for Morgan McInnes. Sam Bircher in a ruthless mood. Super start from Sam, who is off and running 3-zip. And still a long way to go in this match as well. Morgan's just going to be patient though. He's got to take his medicine. There will be moments of suffering like this in his career where he can't really do a huge amount about it, and that was similar in that instance. He made one mistake in this match. It was a minor one. All of a sudden he finds himself 3-0 down. Just has to keep positive, wait for his opportunity. They will come eventually.
Frame number 4.
He has to make sure he's not sort of talks himself out of the match by the time that happens.
3 frames per nil.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that really impresses me about the top players, the ability to sit there and take it. There are times in pool that you have to sit in your chair and take 3, 4, 5 frames at times, and it can swing round. You just have to believe you get the next opportunity and you take it. It will change.
Well, there you go, right on cue. In comes Morgan McInnes. It's a decent break this from Sam Bircher. Doesn't get a load of power through the pack, but a reasonable split. At least in the top half of the table, hasn't made a ball.
And this is a slightly easier layout for Morgan to go at. 2 reds on the right-hand side are his only real problem, but he's got 2 ways of developing it, and both are fairly controllable. So this is one that he would
Red balls in play.
fancy taking out more times than not. It's got the lovely little angle now just to nudge into those 2 reds. Would be very unlucky not to be on anything. Yeah, he's on a choice.
Yeah, that'll do. See Sam Birch just acknowledging that one. I don't don't think it's quite far enough into the match to consider this a swing frame, but 4-0 does sound like a long way back, doesn't it? Even though there is still 35 minutes left on the match clock.
It's that match clock that adds that element to it. If you were 4-0 down in a race away, okay, you're up against it, but you feel like you've got time. But you're 4-0 down and half your match clock's gone, you feel like under pressure to start chasing it.
Plays a double just to hold the white. It's a good shot.
For me, that shows the confidence he's playing with, the fact that he would rather take the double than the much easier pot, because it gives him better position.
Yeah, it's an encouraging sign that if you're in the Morgan McInnes camp. Shows that he's feeling all right out there.
Yeah, he's thinking about the way of clearing up this frame and not worrying about the score line or anything else. This is just about taking this opportunity. The red just above the 8 ball goes to the bottom right, so he has a couple of different ways of playing this one, has options, and he's got a fair bit of angle on this one, so he may come across for it now. If he does come across for that one just above the 8 ball, then he just makes sure he's straight or past straight on it. And that's just about okay. I think he can drop this one in dead weight, and he's can hold the white. The path of the cue ball would be going slightly towards the red, but if he drops it in dead weight, the cue ball's not going to move far enough. So, job done in terms of position. Or maybe it is more there than I thought. So on and off.
Needs to manage this white ball really, really well. Sending it through a minefield at the bottom of the table here.
That just shows you one roll less on that previous positional shot, and it would have just been a roll in, and then the next 2 shots would have been roll-ins as well. That extra little bit of angle. And all of a sudden, he's just got to be careful with this shot. He may play into the yellow just to hold on the 8 ball, but he gets the wrong cannon. Could go wrong. Oh, he has got the wrong cannon. Is he okay?
Well, he's got a shot.
Oh,
I don't think he can get it to the bottom left, which is the easier shot, but he's got a route to the middle via a double or via a really thin cut if he fancies it. Oh, can he sneak through to the potting angle?
I think
that's too tight, surely.
He's trying to talk himself into it. From the overhead, it didn't look like he had a chance, but this must be awfully tight. Oh, he's looking for other options. I think he's worked out that it doesn't, so I think he's looking at a back double into the middle. Big, big shot.
His first frame. Is it the cut or is it the double? Looks like the double to me. It is. Not there. An opportunity for the first frame. Didn't quite straighten up.
It's so tough out there. That was one positional shot that was probably no more than an inch or 2 at most from being out of position, and that's caused all the problems.
Sam Bircher is a smart man. Immediately lays the snooker. This is the advantage that you've got when you've got all your balls on the table. Morgan McInnes here, even if he makes a hit, is going to make this easier for Sam. If he doesn't, of course, it's a foul. Cue ball in hand. Sam should be able to sweep up the frame from there. This isn't the easiest hit, though.
Yeah, he's having a good look. I was just wondering whether he can get to this off one cushion. If he can get to it off one cushion, he might be able to make solid contact. Oh, he tried to arc it off that cushion.
Foul.
And not quite on this occasion.
Ball in hand.
Wasn't far off.
So he felt like he didn't quite have the natural angle, just played to raise the butt of the cue and try and spin it off that left-hand side cushion, but not quite. And chance there now here for Sam Bircher to really get himself 4-0 in front, but 4-0 in front having taken one off Morgan here.
Yeah, hand up an apology there from Sam Bircher. I think he got quite a little bit guilty about how nicely the cannon came out for him, but that was exactly what he played. Looks in really fine fettle, does Sam Bircher. Been really impressed with him so far. It's not often we've seen right from the rip players go out pretty much 100%. Always tends to be that sort of settling in phase, especially in the first matches of the night. Sam Bircher, from the get-go this evening, has been on it and has barely played a false note.
I think the fact that he played in the Champions League a few months ago will help him. He's been out there, he's played in this arena, he knows what it's all about out there, and he actually performed okay on the night. He was just in a really tough group. Yeah,
didn't disgrace himself at all. Got out with a winner, draw, and a defeat, I think it was. Rob Chilton, Phil Harrison in that group.
Yeah, it was a win against Zach Shepherd, and I think it was the loss was against Phil, who actually made it out of that group. But that's a really tough group, and Sam didn't disgrace himself. It was just down on that one match.
Right, if you want to know how tough the group was, 2 of them are already in the last 16 of this competition.
True.
Sam Bircher goes 4-0 up. 29 minutes left on the watch, and he is looking in pretty rude form. Here is that draw we were mentioning. Phil Harrison and Rob Chilton will meet again, as they did in the Champions League Group 3 with Sam Bircher. Jordan Shepherd, Chris Melling is a blockbuster last 16 battle. So those 4 all meet on week 17 of the competition as we go into the last 16. Jordan Shepherd v Chris Melling, Phil Harrison v Rob Chilton. Winners play each other for a spot in finals night. I already cannot wait. There's so much to come before that, which I'm excited for, but that night could be absolutely amazing. If every player brings their A game, there might not be a missed spot.
You're quite right. It really is. That could be the final group. That's that level.
That's a terrific break from Morgan. How's this first shot looking? Caught that really well. I say that actually. Usually when you see the white ball spin like that, it means he hasn't caught it too well, but it seemed to explode out.
Yeah, it's actually broken better than I thought it would. When you look at that contact again, he definitely hit it with an awful lot of side. Didn't get that solid contact he was looking for, but it's a good opportunity, but it's not a great opportunity. He had a couple of problems. He solved one of them by cannoning that yellow out. Now the other problem is at the top of the table. That yellow by the red. He may well be looking at yellow off the red here, which is a tricky shot. The red's a decent distance from the pocket, and it's not in his eye line.
It would solve his problem straight away, though. This is all eggs in one basket for Morgan McInnes. Yellow off the red to free the other. Shot. And now look how easy this table looks. That's brilliant. From the young gun.
Yeah, that was a brilliant shot. The first 2 shots in this visit have been absolutely fantastic. Okay, the first one was fairly routine, but that second one was brilliant. He's getting annoyed with himself, but that's fine. Okay, it's awkward. He's thinner on the one to the centre or thinner on the one to the top right, but he's still on with the next shot.
I think he wanted his next ball to be the other ball in the plan, didn't he? And that's just gone a bit safe.
He can still get out here, just needs 3 good pots and land on that 8 ball. Needs just to drift by the 8 ball to be perfect. Okay, it hasn't, so he's still got the one at the top of the table, but it comes down to pace control again here.
And it is tough to judge this table. It plays quick, it really does. All the players are allocated a practice table in the Players' Lounge here in Newcastle under Lyme that they can play on all afternoon long. As Morgan McInnes can't quite find the contact. He's got the white ball spot on, but missed the pot. Not quite there. Those practice tables, they don't quite play as quick as this one. This was a brand spanking new table not so long ago. Ultra fine cloth, it's so responsive.
It's also worth noting, as Sam plays a clever little shot, get rid of the late yellow off the table and leave Morgan snookered. I was going to say it's worth noting that all the players do get allocated a practice time on the main table as well. I think they each get 10-15 minutes to just get used to it out there in the arena.
Yeah, he doesn't come in completely cold. Oh, that's unlucky. Close again, but not quite there. Sam Bircher is playing lights out at the moment.
Ball in hand.
Yeah, he's playing the right shots, and when he gets his opportunity, he is not making a mistake.
Yeah, Morgan McInnes is a little bit of both. He's been a little bit unlucky, hasn't quite made all of his chances count, but also whenever he hasn't, Sam has been there as the cleaner. Really has been lethal. Don't think we've seen a mistake out of Sam, but I'm racking my brain. I think he's been perfect so far.
Yeah, for me, he's been flawless all the way through. Hasn't, when he's had an opportunity, he's cleared up. If he comes to the table when he hasn't got an opportunity, he's played a good safety or a good snooker and then cleared up. It has been perfect. And I think in terms of Morgan's opportunities, you know, okay, he's had a couple that have got away there, but a lot of that comes down to Sam putting him under pressure. Sam started this match with break dish, reverse dish, or reverse dish, break dish. And that's, you know, all of a sudden, you first time on telly, you're 2-0 down, you haven't touched the table. You know, there's a lot of pressure on that next visit to table. And it really wasn't an easy chance that Morgan had.
You just watch Sam just go about these reds here. Every shot has been pristine, been lethal. 5-0 is tough, but he's earned that. Super from Sam Bircher. He leads by 5 frames to 0 as we head to the break. Can he finish the job when we come back?
Leading 5 frames to 0.
With a mountain to climb against Sam Bircher, who has been perfect so far. It's the only word we can say. He's not made a mistake. Every time he's come to the table, he has cleared up. Lethal performance so far from Sam Bircher. He's got a little bit of bad luck there. Had to happen eventually. You can barely call this an error. This is a good break. Cue ball safely on the side cushion. And you're looking there, how on earth does that go in off? That is immensely unfortunate. At least it's happening when he's 5-0 up if you're in Sam Bircher's corner.
Yeah, you see him there on that replay. It was fantastic. His reaction there, the way he was just about to turn to pick up his playing cue. He breaks with a break cue, and then he noticed it was going to go in off, and then that wry smile. If it's going to happen when you're 5-0 up at least, and there's only 22 minutes left on the clock. If Morgan is going to get into this match, it has to start here. Opportunity to take these yellows out.
Yellow balls in play.
Yellow to the top right hand corner. There is enough room to pop that and then get back out into open play. So all these yellows have a pocket. It is just about working your way around it. And the chances Morgan's had so far, he's done some good work to get himself into this sort of situation and then just come a little bit unstuck when they're there for him.
Well, these are there. There's no mistake about that.
Just enough angle just to be able to bump this one on and off the cushion, just a few inches. Not quite a few inches, but enough.
A few millimeters.
Yeah. It's a similar story that we've seen so far in this match. Pressure on that ball. That was, well, would have felt like frame ball for Morgan, and he misses it.
Missed it thick as well, which is a surprise. Don't think he had the whole ball to go at. He's not left Sam anything particularly easy here. He's not got an easy opening pot. I think the yellow covers the red to the bottom left. He can't really go to the top of the table without going cushion first, which of course is fraught with a little bit of risk. So Sam with a little bit of something to figure out here. He plays, I think, with a decent amount of side. He's just playing the simple snooker. This is a gamble, but he's a percentage player, Sam Bircher. And he's saying to Morgan McInnes, I reckon you can't hit this yellow, because if Morgan hits it with a decent contact, it's of course got a very good chance going in.
I think the problem he's got, I think that what Sam's weighed up is the fact that he can't get to it from the right. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was going to say he couldn't get to it from the right angle to be able to get it going towards the pocket. It was easy to hit it from the bottom cushion or the bottom and side cushion, but not coming from up the table. So anyway, that's Morgan fouling there, and he is very unfortunate to give away the foul there. He has played a lot of pace into the cushion, trying to make something happen, asking for a bit of fortune to go his way, but it just jumps off the table, which you don't see that often.
I think it's the first time I've seen it on this table.
Yeah, not with that sort of shot as well. It's so rare to see that. And that should, well, the way we've seen, it's too early to say that it should make it 6-0, but what we've seen from Sam so far, and with this layout, which a player of Sam's ability would expect to clear up every single time, that is what we are expecting.
Yeah, and especially with the way he's playing so far tonight as well. Nothing to indicate that that's not going to happen.
Just looking all the way through, I'm not sure if the 8 ball does go to the bottom left, but it goes to all the other pockets. So just got to make sure you have a nice angle on that last ball, but even if you haven't, you should be able to work away onto it. So, well, one thing I like about the way Sam's going about his work tonight is that he really is working it, his sort of patterns through. He really is giving the time and attention the shots need when they need it, and when they don't, he's just getting on with it, which I really like. Of course, the players are able to do that with 45 seconds a shot.
He's been pretty hasty though, hasn't he? He really hasn't dallied, which you have the chance to on this shot clock. We've seen players almost talk themselves out and into shots, and actually it's messed with them, but Sam's got a lovely rhythm about him. Helps as well that once he's down on the shot, he really doesn't have much of a feather, he just plays.
Yeah. Although I'd like to have that last shot again, that's for sure. He's left himself awkward. I think he's worried if he takes the one into the left centre, he could go towards the corner pocket. So,
now then. Well, the one thing I wasn't expecting to see at this visit was a Sam Bircher miss. Chalk that one up. That's the first mistake I think he's made all match. White going in off was unfortunate. It's an actual error. Forgotten what one of them looks like from the cue of Sam Bircher.
Yeah, and for me it wasn't necessarily just the missed pot, it was the position he played before. He shouldn't have left himself awkward on a choice of both those last two reds.
Morgan McInnes is on the board, 5-1. Needed that.
Frame.
And if he is to start an assault on the summit in this one, he's got a long way to go. This is the draw in this quarter of the Ultimate Pool Masters. Winner of this will play the winner of Dave McNamara and Martin McIntosh, and they will go through to the last 16 to join Carl Sutton. He was last week's winner. Excellent performance from Carl Sutton there, navigating Ben Flack and Hitton Patel really, really well. Next week we've got Tony Blount, Josh Kane, Dom Cooney, Jordan Church. That's a lovely little lineup if ever there was one. And then Declan Brennan, Bodie Bale, Craig Lakin and Chris Patience.
Throw number 7.
Still to come in this quarter
Morgan
of the
McInnes
draw.
to break, trailing 5 frames to 1.
And in 3 weeks' time, we will know half of our last 16. And well, when Morgan McInnes was just thinking, okay, I've got one, give me a chance, let me have a bit of a run at this. That's what the pool gods decide. Dry break despite a great split, and Sam Bircher gets first chance. Hasn't got the easiest of opening pots. I think you can really take either colour set here, but as soon as you've got the yellow to the right middle, which is the one he's going to take, forces him into yellows. I'm trying to think if he's got a problem anywhere particularly. He just needs to be clever, but I suppose his biggest problem is the 8 ball.
Yeah, 8 ball's going to cause him a little bit of a problem. He could play for it into the right centre pocket, possibly even the bottom right corner when all the yellows are out the way. He might go past that red, but there might be some mileage in trying to move it just a fraction. He may well have been trying to leave an angle on that last one to try and do so. As you can see from the overhead, does not have the angle to be able to screw back into the red and 8 ball, which I think was his plan. Well, if he wanted to, he could. I mean, if the continues on the same line there, he could easily have gone into that red and developed the 8 ball. So either a trick missed, or he has a different plan for the 8 ball. Oh, this time he does go into it, and this time he gets the cannon he needs. Although we'll see from that corner there, the 8 ball still doesn't go past the red. So although he's managed to nudge one red out the way, he hasn't solved it completely. It looks like he wants to go back into it again.
Oh, good shot. Got it out. Has he now got a route to win the frame? Looks like it.
Oh, he has options. He's having a look to see whether the 8 ball would go off the red over the left centre. The red may be just a fraction too far down the table. If he doesn't like that, then he could try and play on it down the rail. It's not easy to get a nice position on it down the rail, but the easiest positional shot would be onto the double. It'll be interesting to see which way he goes. Well, he's coming around again to have another look at this 8 ball off the red. Well, when we look from the overhead, it does look like the shot's on. It must be that he's playing for it.
It's one of those shots that looks really easy, and I'm just waiting for it not to be.
Yeah, it's so easy to catch the red full and it just stay on the lip of the pocket and not actually drop in.
Well played. Well played, Sam Bircher. He's on his way here. 6-1 up. A near faultless performance so far, and a tough night for that man thus far. Played well though, as Morgan. He's not done himself any harm. I think this will give him a lot as well. Obviously, very much on course to lose the match tonight, but what he will have gleaned and what he will have earned in terms of experience will,
Frame number 8.
you know, stand him in good stead for future competitions.
Yeah, I mean, assuming he does go on to lose this, he is going to be bitterly disappointed with the few mistakes that he has made. But you are going to learn a lot when you put yourself out there, and first match on TV. You have to be, you know, he's absolutely going to take stuff away from that, and he's going to improve as a player. He's improving all the time. A young man that does work hard on his game, so I expect him to bounce back stronger once he gets over the disappointment. Made a ball, but not a very nice split, unless he can get through to this red top left. I don't think he can, so it's yellows.
Yellow ball's in play.
Okay. Actually, even the yellows aren't too bad. If he can make the two at the top of the table as a plant, or he can even get through to the one on the pocket, that's helped things a lot all of a sudden. This really is a good chance.
Yeah, as we mentioned at the start of the game, there's not been many who've gone all the way to get to that 8 points. This has been a smooth performance from Sam Bircher, and he's going to go very close to doing so. We are now onto the shorter shot clock.
15-second shot clock.
And that is a surprising miss.
Yeah, that really was. Not expecting that at all. Once he got through to that one nearest the top right corner, I just expected him to take those out. Okay, it needed a couple of nice positional shots, but nothing that we haven't seen him cope with so far tonight. Morgan can respond here and respond quickly. Tough shot, but I think he doesn't need to do too much with the cue ball. Well played. Slightly awkward on the cushion. Oh, he can get through the gap of the two, that helps.
Yeah, nice. Just trying to work out if a comeback is remotely possible here, but I'm going to downplay it until at least a couple more frames won from Morgan McInnes. Not sure if even he expects it. He's frustrated with himself there. Bit of touch harsh on himself. I think he's got every right to be frustrated with that shot.
Yeah, and it's
maybe not the one before.
Yeah, not for the first time tonight. Left himself awkward when he gets to the end of the fizit.
It's a good part. Got himself out of jail.
Frank.
Nicely done by Morgan McInnes.
I think one of the bigger turnarounds we've seen with Ultimate Pool has been a 4-1 deficit turned around.
It's a short story, wasn't it?
Yeah. With about 8.5 minutes on the clock, that was. So this would exceed that. But as long as you're out there and you're fighting, and of course we haven't seen one yet in this competition, but there's always the chance of that golden break.
It's worth pointing out as well that Sean Story did that comeback on what I think was a 25-second shot clock as well.
9. Morgan McInnes to break.
A 15-second shot clock, I think, would help that along a little bit. Needs a ball. Oh, that's unlucky. Nothing he can do about that.
Yeah, dry break. That's twice the 2 frames that he's won. Once you've won a frame, especially when you're losing in the way he is tonight, once you've won a frame, you make a ball off that next break. Give yourself an opportunity and try and get 2 on the trot quickly.
Oh, and Sam Bircher's time fouled.
Ball in hand. Time running.
Morgan McInnes does indeed get first chance at it. I think Sam a little bit unlucky there. Morgan knew, Morgan was aware. You could see him looking at the referee straight away as soon as he realised that Sam wasn't. It's amazing how easy these pots go in when you're playing with a little bit less pressure on your shoulders.
We've seen this throughout the competition, actually. Once it hits that 15 seconds a shot, all of a sudden the player that's been struggling almost frees up a little bit because they haven't got time to think or worry or overthink anything or overanalyze anything. They just get down and they just all of a sudden just go on instinct. That's a little short, and if this goes to the bottom left, it's not too bad. If it has to go to bottom right, then he's got to avoid these reds.
Just went into them, and chances are, is he going to block the 8-ball off? I think he's got away with it. Yeah, stroke of luck for Morgan McInnes. Well, it's going to be 6-3. Oh, no. Oh, that had to go. And that's a sloppy one. It's a long pot, but Morgan will be sick that he's missed that.
Yeah, it really would have been as well. What would that have been? 5:50 on the clock. The clock stops when the referee's racking the balls in the last 10 minutes.
Oh, Sam Bircher, you lucky, lucky boy. Wow, Morgan giving him a little bit of stick for that, I think, and rightfully so. What a fluke.
I think that was just a complete miscue.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Oh, that's sickening. To leave the red where he did it, to leave the 8-ball rather at Morgan's mercy. Only to then fluke it back across in the same pocket. That is absolutely remarkable. And he has the audacity to play a positional shot as good as that to follow it. Oh, silly old game this at times, it really is.
Yeah, so frustrating for your opponent in the chair there. All of a sudden, you miss that great chance to go 6-3, and you're like, oh, I've been let off the hook, and all of a sudden, it is going to be 7-2, thanks to that fluke.
So this is a tough frame for Morgan McInnes to take. It really is. First chance, missed the 8-ball. Gets a second, about a second worth, maybe half a second worth of inspiration when Sam Bircher misses the red. Almost gets up on his feet to win the frame, and then it goes back across into the corner pocket. Sickner. Here's Sam Bircher, the Wolverhampton man, is nearly there. 24-year-old. He's been at it for a little while. Won the Golden Q singles in Great Yarmouth when he was just 18. And
frame number 10
is settling into this competition really nicely.
Leading 7 frames to 2.
Looked excellent. It's actually sort of slowed down. A few mistakes have crept into his game, and I just wonder if that's anything to do with complacency. He looked laser focused towards the start of the match. Hasn't quite been the same since. That's a hammer of a break, mind. That's his best break of the match.
It just can happen. You miss one or two, run out of position or leave it awkward. Actually, for me, it's not the fact that Sam's made a couple of mistakes in the second half of this match. It's more that the mistakes he's made have been
Yellow balls in play.
Really simple mistakes, things that you really wouldn't expect or associate with Sam. I think the mistakes in 15 seconds is a bit more to do with time pressure. But this few minutes that he's going to get here in the 15 seconds a shot portion of the match, where he's not under the pressure of the match in terms of he's now fairly comfortable going to win this match, it just may well help him in tonight's final. A little bit more experience playing out there with 15 seconds a shot, but may not take this clearance out now.
Yeah, I think even he'd require a hell of a fluke from here.
When things like the fluke in the previous frame happen from Morgan's side of the table, you can't be too frustrated with that happening, because the mistake he made in that frame was missing the 8-ball himself. If he makes the 8-ball and Sam doesn't come to the table to make that fluke,
Well, we'll talk plenty more, I'm sure, about Sam Bircher tonight as he makes his way into tonight's final to face either one of the Macs, McIntosh or McNamara. But as Morgan McInnes here goes on a bit of a golden farewell, and one of these final frames, what have you made to the young man? He's got some decently sized shoes to fill, of course, but looks a talented player, if a little raw.
Yeah, he does. He looks comfortable and confident out there, and looks like he's working the puzzle out, but he's just made a couple of poor positional errors and missed a couple of key balls when the moment to win the frame was there, and one of the things he'll just have to work on. But that will come with confidence. You know, he goes into tournaments and he starts winning matches and getting deeper and deeper in tournaments. All of a sudden, those moments, he's going to take them. He's not going to make the same mistakes he's made tonight.
7-3. Morgan McInnes still just about alive and kicking. 23-year-olds turns 24 soon, I think, in June. And from Dunfermline, as you can see, was the outsider to qualify tonight, 7-1. But he's got a decent track record behind him.
Yeah, he's 23 years old. Just chatting to his dad Ross, who's come down with him for this event earlier tonight. He was saying that Morgan didn't really start playing the game until he was 17, 18 years old, so he's not been playing that many years. Good opportunity here. I'm not sure if the 8-ball passes to the bottom left once this yellow's out the way, so may have to develop the 8-ball, but the rest of the yellows are lying beautifully. And this is a race against the clock to see whether he can get to 8 before the match clock stops. He's just having a look at that 8-ball now.
Is he going to have the chance to go and win it outright?
You can see, even with the 15 seconds, he's still trying to work out what he wants to do. He knows what he's going to do on his next shot, but he's just working out how he wants to get the last couple sorted.
Oh, that's pure time pressure. Rushed that shot, you could tell. Don't think he was actually trying to play on the 8-ball on that shot, setting it up for another time, but he was a long way wide of the mark. That's some pot that from Morgan. (7-4) for what it's worth. I think it'd be about right. Second half of this match, Morgan's been better. Just hasn't quite won the key moments, and that's been where Sam Bircher has. That start was emphatic and has got him over the line. It'll be a 7-3 victory in the end as the clock runs out on Morgan McInnes. Super performance from Sam Bircher. Really, really impressive from the young man. And a great opportunity for him to go into tonight's final. Simon, what have you made of Sam Bircher there as we take a look at the stats? In the end, they're fairly even, but that first half of the match where Sam Bircher was I think 5-0 up in the end was where the match was really won and lost.
Yeah, Sam put Morgan under pressure at the start. He got off to a great start with that break dish, reverse dish, and then what it does is, in Morgan's situation, you feel like you're under pressure to take that next opportunity to respond, and all of a sudden you miss a couple of chances, and you miss a couple of opportunities, and then Sam gets back to the table, and all of a sudden it's 4 and 5-0 before you know it. And It's a difficult one for Morgan to take, but Sam did all that hard work at the start, put him under a huge amount of pressure, and then, okay, yes, he missed a couple towards the end, but you know, the 15 seconds just rushed him. But he was also, he'd kind of relaxed because he knew he may not get to 8, but he also knew that Morgan wasn't going to catch up.
Yeah, and in the end he didn't. It's a great win for Sam Bircher, who goes into tonight's final. He'll face either one of Martin McIntosh or David McNamara. Who will he face? We're about to find out when we return from the break. Welcome back to Ultimate Pool, the Masters. That is the match that's up on deck next. Martin McIntosh versus David McNamara. As you saw there in that video, I've already had a magic moment from McNamara on this table. He was superb in the Champions League, went quite far, got to the second stage before being edged out by a really top quality field. He enters this match as the big favourite up against Martin McIntosh, Simon. As we've seen before from Martin McIntosh, you never quite know what you're going to get, and Dave has to really be on his guard here to put in a professional display and do what is expected of him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the right way of putting it. I think David comes in as the favourite for the match. I think if he performs to the level that he knows he can, I think that Martin would have to play a pretty special match to beat him. But Martin is, you know, we've seen a lot of him on Free Sports over the last year or so, and he can put it in a good performance every now and then, something to really catch somebody out. Every now and then he gets loose with his cue ball, and his patterns can get a little bit wild, but he's got that confidence and belief and will come up with a big shot to recover the situation. And sometimes with Martin, the bigger the stage, the bigger he performs. We've seen him go deep on Free Sports before. But it is McNamara with the first opportunity. And it's a pretty decent one as well.
Worth pointing out as Dave gets into his break here that we're hearing reports of some breakup of sound on the Free Sports app and player. I do apologise if you've been affected by that. Hopefully you're hearing myself and Simon loud and clear from now on forward. DJ just getting loose. You can see him flexing that shoulder. He's had a problem with that, had surgery on it in the last 6-7 months or so.
I was chatting to him earlier about it actually, and he said that he's back playing cricket again, and it's almost, he's feeling it a little bit more now than immediately after having the surgery. It's quite sore. He is still really struggling with it. It's going to affect his break, although he started off quite nicely here with this opening break.
Yeah, he was saying it's certain movements, isn't it? So it's when he's having to drive through almost an underarm action, that's where he's struggling a little bit with power. But didn't affect him too badly in the Champions League, which was obviously an event much closer to that initial surgery. Played really well in that competition, actually. Was unlucky, as I mentioned, he was edged out in the second stage by an unbelievable top quality field. I think he was in the group with Neil Rayburn, Aaron Davies and Phil Harrison, if I remember rightly. It was a tough one.
No, it was actually it was the Melling and Hill group.
Oh, it was.
And
choose your poison.
Yeah, exactly. It's just as bad. It was. He was actually really unfortunate because in that match he made one mistake in his first match against Sean Story. He had a good chance to go 3-0 up, made a mistake, positional error, didn't make the clearance that he should have done really, and then from there he was pretty much frozen out the rest of the night. He had one more chance in that match, which put him onto 3. It was race to 4 in that competition, but he was reverse dish, broke dish to lose that match, and then didn't touch the table against Chris Melling and lost 4-0, and then by then he's already out the competition before he even played Michael. So tough night for David, but it was still a good tournament, and he is still putting in good performances out there. And he is just, if you keep putting yourself deep in tournaments, it will happen for you.
Just got a glimpse there of Mad Mac. And we're getting more of a glimpse of him here because McNamara's run aground. Just wanted to glide past that yellow. He's going to have to go cushion first onto this 8 ball. If he pots this, it'll be some shot, but he's forced into it. He's lining it up. He's got the time to line it up.
This whole visit was always going to come down to that position from his last ball to the 8 ball. It was always going to be a problem for him.
Doesn't quite get it right. Leaves an okay cue ball, but realistically, McIntosh now is ginormous favourite to win this frame.
He is. Can he get into that cluster of 3 on the left-hand side on this first shot? He might well be able to. Could have potted that just a fraction thinner if he needed to, but he's decided to play on this one. From this main camera angle, it doesn't look like it goes, but it must do.
Oh, it did. And he concedes the frame.
David McNamara.
David McNamara didn't even need to finish it off in the end. McIntosh fuming with himself. And he's not going to hang about. Time is absolutely everything. And that extra second could mean a bit in a little while. Dave McNamara there, the man from Runcorn, has been a world champion at under 23 level in 2016, as well as a national champion that year as well. He's won amateur titles as well on 2019. Super player, and as we've mentioned before with Dave, he just feel like he's awaiting that first major win.
Yeah, he's been getting closer and closer. Frame. We've seen some of that on Free Sports.
And McIntosh to break.
I think it will happen for him at some point. I have to say, talking about this match itself, I think that was I know it was early, first frame of the match, but I think that's a huge moment for Martin, because I think for Martin to win this match, you need to punish the mistakes that David's going to make, and the fact that he's let David off on that first one, David's just going to grow in confidence from that.
Yellow ball's in play.
Not the greatest chance, a little congested in the triangle area still. It was a break he completely mishit, if he's honest with himself. He still made a ball.
Yeah, not an easy lie at all. Made his name, Martin McIntosh, as a sort of big-time money match player. That phrase that you mentioned at the top of the match, the bigger the stage, the bigger the performance. That tends to be how he performs. Thrives off a live crowd and enjoys the pressure. He's got an unbelievable white ball there. He's not given Dave a lot to go at, although having said that, can he possibly double the red to the right of the triangle area here, maybe? Past that yellow, I think it's tight. Not sure he's got another shot to play.
He may well have to take something on. I'm just trying to see if there's an area on the table he can leave this safe. Of course, he has to hit a cushion after contact. So he couldn't just touch the cue ball into those 2 reds. Had to make sure he hit a cushion, which means he was always going to open it up, and he's given Martin a second opportunity. Still awkward. It's not. The clearance is there, but he's got a red in the way of both yellows. Both yellows have a pocket. It's just landing on them. It's going to be difficult for him. He's just trying to find a spot on the table. Or if he's through the gap here, this is a big bonus.
Yeah, that'll do.
And he's on the one to the right centre now if he wants it as well. So the two balls I thought might be tricky for him to land on. He's managed to get out the way back to back. Someone will still need a good positional shot because he needs to leave a nice angle on the last yellow to be able to get to the 8 ball. If he takes the one to the top left now and comes back, he is just not going to leave himself a nice angle to get on the 8 balls. It's just not the right way to go. And that is a difficult angle to get to the 8 ball. Needs to get somewhere near the right centre pocket, and that is very hard to do from the angle he has left.
Yeah, this is a big positional shot, isn't it?
The red nearest the top right corner pocket's in the way if he tries to go with top spin. If he tries to screw it back, it's going to have to come through the reds, and I don't think he's quite got the angle to be able to do that anyway. He's tried.
It's not a bad effort. He'll have a shot.
He'd take that if he was honest. That's probably better than he was expecting to get on it.
Oh, it's a good frame win. It really is.
Frame.
1-1. Martin McIntosh ties things up by the skin of his teeth. Reminder of what we've still got to look forward to. Ultimate pool, the Masters. Group 9 kicks off quarter 3. Simon Fitzsimmons, Mike King is a terrific opening game in that one. Group 10 is a shark tank. Lee Kendall, Gav Robinson's a great match. Ronan McCarthy, Emma Cunningham is arguably even better. Ryan Davies, the young snooker sensation, is in. He's in Group 11 against Craig Waddingham. He's been to several major finals. He's beaten world finalists as well, Craig Waddingham, if I remember rightly. Sean Story still to come. Aaron Davies, Shane Thompson is an amazing opening draw. So many good games to come.
There's the 8 ball. Oh, it's not this time, but he has got form on this table. Has had golden breaks here before. And not only did he not make the 8 ball, he didn't make any other ball. That cluster around the left centre pocket, that's a problem.
Red ball's in play.
Hard to work out how he can develop those 3 reds, none of which go at the moment. He has an angle to the one to the top left. He could screw into at least one of them. Well, that's opened up 2 of them. That's a good shot.
Yeah, he's going along all right at the moment, Martin McIntosh. I think that last frame will have settled him down a bit. He's in a stoic kind of mood. Looks intense, looks concentrated. Still got this red to the bottom right. Continue this break. I think he wanted to be on the red to the left middle. He's got that back up.
I wondered whether he was going to be playing for the middle of those 3 reds and play into the yellow to develop the red that's causing all the problems, but he's seen it a different way. He's come up the table. He's got just about enough angle to force this one through and almost get into those 2 yellows just to open up the reds.
Oh, missed it. Missed it by a way as well. Yes, he was trying to pinch the pocket, but it's tough to pinch pocket when there was very, very little to pinch there.
Yeah, that you could see on that replay from the overhead that he actually hadn't quite gone far enough up the table to have the angle he needed to be able to come on and off the cushion. He couldn't pot that centre pocket. If he pots it centre pocket, then he can't develop the 2 last balls. So it was about the position of the 2 or 3 shots before that where he didn't quite land where he needed to open up the 2 reds.
He's not left Deej a great finish here though. Yellows are tricky. The yellow that's still glued to Martin's red is a big problem. He's freed up one of the yellows. I think he can just about squeeze that in. Landing on it isn't easy. This is a tough little visit for Dave McNamara. If he can get through it, go 2-1 up.
Don't think he's left himself the angle he needs.
Yeah, this looks too thin, doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought he was trying to play on the one in the triangle area to try and go into the 2 on the left-hand side, but he's seen it a different way, and that is just to slow things down.
Yeah, it's not a missed pot, that's as played. Realised he didn't have the position to go for it, and actually that's sensible, isn't it?
It is, but he's a couple of rolls short. He needed to be absolutely right behind that yellow. He's left this red to the right centre, and that's going to give Martin something to go at here. Well, it would have done when he misses another ball. I was just thinking, can he give himself the angle on his penultimate red to get into that red and yellow that are together? He would have just about.
It's the same problem that he had before. He's tried to pinch the pocket there to hold the white, to give him the angle that he needs to make that cannon. It's exactly the same problem. It's just stumped him for another pocket. It's not as bad a missed pot as it looks, because he's trying to play it into the right in the side of the pocket, but it's still an error from Martin McIntosh, and it could be a costly one. But again, McNamara still has the same problem as before. You might believe he's got a better route to get out of it now, though.
So he can probably play this one thin over the pocket and go up into the red and yellow that are causing all the problems for him. May have to play with a tracer right-hand side to make that shot work. It's definitely on for him. Well, he's got the pot down the cushion. It's a big pocket as well.
Yeah, we both hadn't seen that. It's a lovely shot.
The problem with that shot, for me, is the fact that it wasn't going to develop the bad ball, which he still needs to do.
Can he do it off this yellow over the pocket?
Yeah, he still has the shot that I thought he might go for previously. Clip this in and try and cannon into that red.
Oh, lovely. Wants a little roll just so he can get through. Looks like he's fine. That's a great shot.
Yeah, that's really well played.
And I think that's the, if you had to pick a difference between these two players, that would be the one. Dave's under 23 world champion a few years ago. He's a really good top player, really. And that's the little level above, isn't it? His cue ball control and his ability to get out of a problem like that is really, really good.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Just feels that fraction more controlled. Still needs to play a good positional shot here, though. It's probably down to pace control. It looks like a natural. It wasn't a natural. He was going into it. Now this is slightly awkward.
You'd expect him to make it, but it's more difficult than it needed to be.
The time he's taken over this, I think it might be even trickier than I first thought it was going to be. Or he would still just try and cut this in the centre.
He's playing it off the reds, not to be. Yeah, I thought it was the cut, but
yeah, it
obviously didn't like it.
Yeah, it must have been trickier than. Yeah, I suppose when you look from the overhead, that really is very, very thin.
Couldn't quite make it work, and now Martin McIntosh here with a terrific opportunity to go in front. First pot probably the trickiest from on the cushion, almost the full length of the table. Gets it right, and he should win the frame, and he has got it right.
Good bit of cueing that. Especially he's already missed a couple of pots, especially in that first frame where it felt like he was going to win the frame off it. And that was cued so well, and that's a lovely little shot with a little bit of reverse side.
Well, Martin McIntosh about to take the lead, is he? Yes, that'll do it.
And there it is. So Martin gets himself in front for the first time. A mistake from David McNamara this time when we thought he might make the clearance. He just ran into some problems, and Martin gets himself in front and starts to put some pressure onto the favourite for this match. And I can hand over to Stephen Jamieson, who has popped out of the commentary box to get a few words with Sam Bircher.
Yeah, I certainly have, Sam. Big congratulations on the win. It was a flawless performance for the first half of that one, 5-0 up, and I don't think we saw you miss a pot or put a toe out of line. How do you feel that went for you?
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of got out there and felt quite relaxed, and then I've gone 5-0 up, and it's kind of a bit tricky with the clock, so I wasn't sure if like to slow down or kind of play to the clock when perhaps I should have just ran the match out. But yeah, it's just a bit tough, that's all.
How did you find the opening of that match? Because we've seen players come here and usually it takes a little bit of time to bed in, but you were perfect from the get-go. Do you think that previous experience of the last competition just helped settle you down a bit?
Yeah, possibly. I think obviously having like the TV debut last time and coming out this time, it's a little bit easier. But yeah, I played good first half. Hopefully carry it on to the next game.
And you'll be playing either one of these two out there at the moment.
Yep.
What you made of the match so far?
Yeah, it's been quite good. Dave, yeah, Martin's lost the cue ball a couple of times, but yeah, it looks like a good game, so hopefully they can keep it up.
Yeah, it'll be a good final. Let's hope so as well. Best of luck for that.
Cheers.
To you, sir.
Well, certainly will be a good final. I have to say, on current form, Sam looked very, very sharp, and I think both these guys are still just struggling to get hold of their games out there. Things can certainly change around. And great break in this frame from Martin, and may not have just quite got the position he wanted on that previous shot. He's just a few rolls short, but he still has this yellow to the top of the table.
That's nearly a golden break. Going back to the commentary box, see the lay of the table. How close was that to going in?
Well, as you can see, very. That was a good recovery from Martin, and he's going to wrap this finish up pretty quickly.
Yeah, probably not the scoreline we expected at the start of this one. But Martin McIntosh here is going to front run. 4 frames gone. Coming up to 12 minutes played. Sorry, 22 minutes played. And he's 3-1 in front. Great start for Mad Mac. We've had all 3 quarters of the draw shown already. Now we get the 4th and final. And this might be my favourite one. A couple of standout ties. Omar Munshid, Carl Boyce, Scott Gillespie, John Rowe. Group 14 is unbelievably loaded. Then take a look at Group 15. My tie of the round, this one. Michael Hill, Sean Chipperfield. Battle of the former world champions. The last 6 years, 7 years of world titles have all gone between those 2 players. And we end with John Kennis, Lydon De Bono, Jimmy Croxton, Sean Sharkey. What a lineup of players that is. What a competition this will prove to be. And of course, once we get through the back of those 16 groups, we go into the last 16, and that's when we welcome back the likes of Jordan Shepherd, Chris Melling, Phil Harrison, Rob Chilton, Carl Sutton, who've all impressed us so much so far.
This was an interesting break. David really tried to give that some more, and you could see the reaction. His shoulder is still really hurting him. Immediately kind of reacting to the pain, but he has had a good break and he has made a couple of balls, so chances there. Red and yellow together on the left-hand side, a real problem.
I believe that's still open table.
Still okay.
It is indeed. He'll turn table over. So yellow onto red, and potting the red turns the table over. It's not a legal shot. It's open table. You need to, if you play a yellow, you've got to pot a yellow. If you play a yellow and pot a red, the table just turns over. It's not a foul, but Martin McIntosh here will take yellows and tries to go into that one on the cushion. Wasn't really there, I don't think.
I just wonder if he had a better option. Pot something, because that ball he's just potted was perfect to try and go into the red and yellow, but they were awkward from that angle to go into them. If he could have got low onto the bottom cushion, it would have been really simple, almost unmissable to get the cannon he needed.
Yeah. But where the cue ball was, he was cueing down on it. Tough to generate that sort of pace and spin required. He's got a problem. And Dave will be hoping that he's playing himself into a bigger one. Martin McIntosh, he's got options here because all his work is in the same part of the table. Might even have the option to go into it off this one. Off the bottom cushion. Yeah, lovely. I think he's okay for his next ball as well. Might well be a double on his final yellow. It's a little bit close to the cushion as well. It's not ideal.
That's the problem you have with leaving your hardest ball to develop so late.
Might even be looking to try and play us down the rail. If you can squeeze it past the red into the bottom left. Oh, he's looking to cut this. Is he doubling this yellow? No?
I think that yellow would have been too... Sorry, I think that yellow might have been just too tight to cut down the rail, so it has to be a double. Yeah, just too tight. Double in the corner is on.
Close.
I have to say, he's left it in a position here where it might well be putting David under real pressure for a pot at the top of the table here. I think to the point where David may not even take it on. I think he may well be looking for a safety, try and get behind those two reds at the top.
Yeah, he can top through onto one of them to leave the white behind the other. That's an option. He's a confident fella, Dave McNamara. He will back himself in almost any situation. Has he got his match play head on? He has taken the pot on, and it might cost him the frame. He might well have some serious work to do here. This got the making so far of a real upset. Martin McIntosh, one pot away. Makes it thick. Thought for a second he was missing that. Disappointed Dave McNamara.
It was an interesting choice of shot from David McNamara because he didn't have to take it on. There was a pretty good safety option for him, but I think he knows the right shot if he's playing well and confident is to take that pot on and make the clearance, but he's just not quite at the races just yet.
Martin McIntosh is.
Frame.
Make no mistake, he is at the races all right. A 4-1 lead for Mad Mac. Dave McNamara with work to do when we return. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Masters here on Free Sports. Dave McNamara in and amongst the balls. Chance to reduce arrears to 2 frames. Martin McIntosh had a chance, and he had first chance in this frame. Couldn't quite run out. Very nearly did. We'll show you what happens once Dave clears these up. But safe to say it was some vintage Martin McIntosh shot making. Just couldn't quite make it count on his final ball. Dave here with 2 reds to dispatch. He's battling at the moment.
I think it's fair to say that David hasn't really got control of himself out there in this match so far. A couple of loose positional shots to get to this point, and he's had to recover with a couple of very good shots to get there, but recovery has.
4-2.
Frame.
All right, let's show you what happened earlier on. This was Martin McIntosh's visit. It's his penultimate shot. Really decent hit of the yellow, but you're thinking, he's not got an easy pot here. Well, let me tell you, dear reader, he solved this problem majestically, really. Have some of that. But oh no, not quite on the 8-ball. He did make the hit. Couldn't quite find the angle to make the pot.
Yeah, it was a sort of typical Martin McIntosh visit to the table. Just sort of potted himself into quite a bit of trouble. Wasn't able to solve his problem ball early enough, and ended up having to make the big shot, which he almost did. Where's the 8-ball?
Oh, it was nearly a golden duck, wasn't it? Cue ball's in, 8-ball was nearly in. That was nearly a loss of frame for Dave McNamara, which would have been a sickener. But yeah, he's hit a really good break there. He's actually breaking all right at the moment. He's just not having the easiest of chances. You can even see on the split here, it's not a kind split for either colour. Martin McIntosh, though, is... well, he's an aggressive son of a gun when it comes to a pool table. You very, very rarely see him play safe. And he's going to take these yellows on.
Foul.
Just clipped the red before the yellow there.
Time running.
When you look at the overhead, it looked really tight on the main camera. It looks even tighter here.
Not the most difficult decision referee Scott's ever had to make.
Needs this red to stay on, and it has. Oh, if he's got one into the centre pocket, that's worked out beautifully for David.
Yeah, I think he has. I think this top red goes, just slides past the 2 yellows. Yeah, there you see it. Lovely. And in one shot, he solved the table.
It looked messy, didn't it? Looked like it was going to be a real problem. 3 reds there that were really awkward. Got straight into it with his first shot. And it's given him the best opportunity to make the clearance. And from here, he's back out into open play, and all the reds are on.
Yeah, this is the sort of run out that you expect to see a little bit more of from Dave. We've not seen him at his best so far. A few uncharacteristic mistakes.
I'd say one thing I've noticed since going 4-1 down, since we've come back from the break, is he is playing a lot quicker.
Yeah.
We're not at the 15 seconds a shot part of the match yet, but he's very conscious of that match clock.
Sometimes see it, don't you? I instantly think of when a player does this, I think of sort of similarity to darts. A player struggling for rhythm. Sometimes they'll force themselves to play a little bit quicker, force the muscle memory to go. Dave hasn't been at it as much so far. Hasn't made too many errors, at least in terms of missed pots. But his breaks haven't been too kind for him. And he's not taking the chances that have been offered.
Yeah, there's a couple of times when Martin's needed 2 opportunities to make the clearance, and I remember one of them where he didn't make it first chance, but left David absolutely nothing to go at. Welded to 2 reds and no way of really playing safe or aggressive, and gave Martin that second opportunity, which he was able to take. So a few things going against David at the start, but he didn't take a couple of opportunities he had.
That's not a good break from Martin. Didn't get a good contact. White's gone straight into the corner pocket as well.
Ball behind the break line.
And Dave McNamara here has got all the momentum. See here, it's a horrible contact. White almost stopped off the pack, didn't it?
Did not strike that one cleanly at all. And so 4-1 is now 4-3, and it's David McNamara with an opportunity to tie it up even closer. Looks like he wants reds. Question mark on those two reds that are together on the left-hand side. And the way he's played that one, he didn't leave himself an angle to go into them, so I think he can probably pot this one furthest right, and in doing so he can cannon into the other one, which he has done. It's not come out overly kindly for him in terms of it's gone onto the cushion and he isn't on it now, but he can still pot one to the bottom right corner. Don't think the 8 ball will pose a problem. It may go to the bottom left, but I think it certainly goes to the right centre. So just that red on the, well, I was about to say just that red on the left-hand side, but as David misses a ball that he will feel he shouldn't have done. Although when we look from the overhead, he may well have had to just swerve that one to get to the potting angle. I think, yes, he did.
An opportunity that Martin McIntosh wouldn't have expected to have here. Once he'd made the error off the break, I think he'd have looked at the table and thought, well, this is going 4-4, I might need to dig in here, but he's been presented with a chance. And all these yellows are there, they've all got pockets. Just needs to work out his pattern. It's going to the top left. Slightly surprised. Oh, and it doesn't drop. The reason I say I was slightly surprised there, Simon, is that's a prime position for a double if he's straight on it. Now that's a tough pot for anyone.
It is. I think he was playing it as a bit of a two-way shot. If he can get the cue ball behind those yellows at the top, then if it goes in, he's great. He's got a good chance to clear up. If it doesn't, then he's got it safe. He hasn't quite got the cue ball where he wanted to. And I don't think this is on for David, just going by his body language. I think he has to play a plant here.
Yeah, almost certainly. Oh, yes. Camera trickery playing fools of us all. That's a lovely shot, really well managed. Those reds are an issue now on the left-hand side. One goes.
It's easier for him if the one on the cushion goes as well, so that he doesn't have to play into the one on the cushion. And I don't think it does.
Well, that tells you, doesn't it?
Yeah, so he needs this cannon to go well as well. The yellow over the top left. Yellow's blocking the top right as well, so needs to be able to develop it into a centre pocket or one of the bottom pockets, which isn't easy to do. He's played for the double himself. Oh, he's snookered himself.
I was going to say, it looked really tight, and well, sarcastic tap of the table is all you needed to know, really. That's when you know someone's played a bad shot.
I think we heard from him in the arena as well.
Oh, that wasn't far off.
15-second shot clock.
So the 15-second shot clock now in operation. Can Martin clear these? He has now got a slight issue. The yellow next to the 8 ball doesn't go to the bottom left. The question is whether that can go to the right centre. It's tough to tell from this angle. We're going to look at it in a moment. Oh. I'm not sure that goes.
It does now.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Brilliant.
That's
Brilliant
a
shot.
really, really good shot. It's the final 9 minutes on a 15-second shot clock. Into the witching hour, really, here. This is where the game will be decided. Every frame vital. Every visit key. McIntosh is leading from the front. 5-3 to Mad Mac. He's getting there. He's slowly but surely edging closer and closer. This was a shot that won in the frame, and a great shot it was too.
Worked it out really well. That ball next to the 8 ball is going to be a big problem if he couldn't open up that pocket. Excellent shot, and that's one that's going to really hurt David McNamara. He'll feel like that's a frame he should have won, especially considering Martin fouled off the break. 2 chances in that frame for David.
Frame number 9.
And he has to get to work again.
David McNamara to break. Trailing 5 frames to 3.
There's time in this match, yep, plenty of it. Oh, where's that 8 ball that was going towards the middle pocket? I think he was cheering it on. Was David McNamara? Now then, let's have a look at this light. It's not the easiest.
Yellows are a chance hit. That yellow nearest the centre, left top centre pocket as we look from the overhead, the left centre pocket from the main camera goes. I think the yellow near that goes into the bottom corner. If it doesn't, it'll go into the centre pocket once the other yellow's out of the way.
Yellow ball's in play.
So the 8 ball's the only one that's a real problem, and that has a pocket to the top left, so definitely a chance.
Oh dear. It's not happening for Deej tonight, it really isn't. So many really uncharacteristic misses. He's seething.
Extension called.
Martin's not got anything particularly easy here, and Reds were definitely a harder clearance. Might not be Dave's last visit to the table in this frame. He's got to keep his head screwed on. He's still got a great chance of going through. It's very much not over yet.
I think Martin's just overhit that shot. He's still going to go into the red and 8 ball here, but he wanted to be able to develop the one below it as well. That's a decent cannon, because he now has an angle to be able to go into the ones causing him a problem. But being hampered queuing makes it tricky. And that's not opened it up. A little bit unlucky, it has to be said, for Martin to be hampered on that yellow.
I think he can still keep playing here. I think he can get through to this red on the bottom and cushion. Yeah, he can. Tried to force it. Dave McNamara has not got going in this match at all. It's difficult to chase. He still has plenty of time. But he's struggling out there, make no mistake. You can see he's wrestling with himself. And Martin McIntosh is slowing the game down. I never thought I'd see the day.
Oh, where's the 8 ball? Where's the 8 ball? Oh, very fortunate for David McNamara.
Do you think he was deliberately trying to make that yellow in the middle pocket there? It was a gamble of a shot with moving the 8 ball like he was. I suppose he's in a position where he sort of has to take a few risks.
I think he was just in a position where he really wanted to open it up. He wanted to try and... He knows that he can't afford for this clock to run down, and he has to take a gamble that Martin's not going to make the clearance. And the way these reds are laid out, it's a decent gamble. Oh, wow. Wow, that's another big fluke for Martin McIntosh. That's incredible.
Can't quite believe what I've seen. I don't think it's actually going to help him, bizarrely. He's made the red, yes, but I don't know what he's got to look at now. Don't think this plants. Just a safety, and it's not a particularly safe safety either.
No, but he has covered up that bottom left-hand corner. Without the fluke, that was a certain clearance for David McNamara. Now he's got to play one really big shot. Hasn't quite got time to walk around the table. so he's seeing this off the bottom cushion, off the red, and then in or over.
Beautiful shot. Really good shot. That was a much trickier shot than he's made that look. He's had some pretty glaring misses tonight as Dave McNamara, and that's another one.
It is, but it's not going to pose a problem.
Oh, he gets away with it. He's fighting here. It's Dave McNamara. He's fighting against himself. He's back within one. But have a look at this. Oh, that's a ridiculous fluke. That is a ridiculous fluke. Now look at this from the top angle. This will show you how good a shot this is. Lovely judgment. He made a great yellow over to the top right as well.
That fluke was quite incredible. Of course, it wouldn't have been a foul had his ball not gone in, but he'd opened everything up in that shot, and when his ball went in, it was... Well, I thought it was going to change the fortune of that frame, but David was able to get through and make the clearance.
White ball's in. Dave McNamara leaps out of that chair.
Foul. Ball behind the break line. Time running.
This is a massive opportunity to tie things up. And Dave has the next break too, which could be big.
Yellow ball's in play.
It's a good opening shot on the yellows. The reds are almost acting like a guardrail across the middle of the table. Just has to be wary of that and mind his work. All these yellows have pockets, and this is a good chance. Needs to tie things up. And then he's got the chance to go and win the match.
He was on the yellow to the bottom right-hand corner, the one he was nearest to before that shot, and he didn't take it on. So that, I wonder if the yellow actually goes into the left centre pocket. And I think, yeah, there from the overhead, that does go into the left centre pocket. I was wondering if that was going to become a problem ball, but it's actually opened up really well. That first shot was very nicely played.
A bit frantic at the moment, is McNamara, but he's got a little bit more time than I think he realises.
Oh, it's short. He was so worried about overhitting the shot. He's pinched the pocket and left it short. He can get back to the right area of the table to make the finish, but he'll be annoyed that he's done, and that's gone wrong. It's two bad shots on the trot for David.
Extension called.
Yeah, if he doesn't jaw it, he's probably okay. Needs a miracle from here. Makes good contact, but can't get it to drop, and Martin McIntosh here can go and win the game. With 2 minutes on the clock, he's got all 7 reds to pot. What a chance to choose some clock. Everything's an open table. Those 2 shots may well have cost Dave McNamara the match. They should at this stage. These are all there for Martin McIntosh. He just has to hold his nerve. And he's into tonight's final against Sam Bircher. Would be a big upset. Get used to hearing those beeps, because Martin McIntosh will look to pinch every second of time that he can as an insurance policy. Dave will just be hoping for one chance. He's still got an opportunity, if Martin misses, to tie things up and we go to a 6-red shootout. Martin can't afford to miss, but he is the massive favourite at this juncture.
That's what I was just trying to work out. He can't use the clock, because even if he used the full length, there would be enough time for David, so has to make these 3 balls.
Oh, that wiped its feet, didn't it? This has distance, but other than that, should be routine. This is all about nerve, all about bottle. And he's proven plenty of times, Martin McIntosh. That's one thing he's got in abundance. This for the match. Oh, would you believe it?
13 seconds.
Dave McNamara can force a 6-red shootout. Oh, I can't believe it. Needs the white to stop. We're going the distance. Wow. Wow.
We were just hearing there is still going to be, because the clock stops when the referee racks the balls, so there will be enough time for the next break. But that is incredible.
Wow. Oh, wow. Speechless. Absolutely speechless. There's going to be 3 seconds left on the match clock. It's just resetting in the background at the moment. What an opportunity. And Dave McNamara has been in this situation before in the Champions League.
Yeah,
he had this exact scenario against Craig Lakin where 3 seconds left on the clock and he needed a golden break to win it. Lightning couldn't strike twice, could it?
5 frames all.
This would be the cruelest way to lose for Martin McIntosh. Surely not. Surely not. He was watching it. We go the distance to a 6-red shootout. Wow. Wowie.
I thought that was tracking. That is incredible.
I can't believe what I've seen. Cannot believe what I've seen. Wow. We go to a 6-red shootout then, ladies and gents. They tie the match at 5-5. But I tell you what, Simon, if you are Martin McIntosh right now, where's your head at? Because he's had the game in his hands. That was a routine 8-ball.
It was.
He's made thousands of them before in his life. It was time to miss it.
The balls before were the nervy ones. The one down the rail, and he caught the near jaw. I thought, that could be the one. But the next one he cued so beautifully. He really got through it nicely. And that 8-ball, I really was shocked. I didn't think there was a chance of him missing it. But how quick did David get out the chair, and the relief he must have, because to be honest, David hasn't really turned up in this match. Every time he felt like he was going to get back into the match, tie it up, he's made a bad error. He's lost a cue ball, he's missed a couple of pots, and he's going to be so relieved to find himself in this shootout that that may well give him an advantage. But as we've already talked about, David is slightly injured with his shoulder. Will that affect his ability to play quickly around the table?
It's just amazing, really, because by any token, and Dave sets high standards for himself. He's a top player. He's played really badly tonight, and he knows that. This is a match that he's had to grind out, find a way to win. He's now got the opportunity to do that. If he can do it, he can reset for his next match. That won't really be a concern for him at this stage. But a 6-red shootout, we've talked about this before in previous competitions. First one we've seen in the Masters. We reckon a par is about 25 seconds. Certain players will prove that to be folly, really. Don't think these two are players of which you're thinking 15, 10 seconds could be on the cards. I think anything around 25 will give either player a big chance.
Yeah, normally coming into a 6-red shootout, I would sort of favour one or the other, depending on how they play. I can't call this one.
Here we go then. David McNamara will go first. 6 reds. Gets a pretty brutal white ball, just needs that to move out the way.
Has to wait for the object ball and the cue ball to stop. It was a really poor break and he's put himself really under it now.
Yeah, right under it. 3-ball plant will go fine. That was probably the wrong choice of shot, if he's honest.
Oh, he's under-hit that shot as well.
What a chance for McIntosh this is. Great last pot, 42-1-3. He is relying on errors.
42-40.
That went wrong from the very first shot.
Massive opportunity then for Martin McIntosh. His second chance to do it, because he's already had this opportunity, hasn't he? He had a dolly of an 8-ball, and he couldn't quite hold it together. Now
Yeah,
we've got the same situation. This is in his grasp.
it is, but it's. I think the fact if David had even managed to put a 35 on the clock, it would make a difference. The fact that it's a 42, then it's going to be slightly easier for Martin to just be a bit more controlled about it, although he's hit a really bad first break as well.
Needs to keep his nerve. White ball moving around the table is a problem, because that's seconds that you can't do anything with.
He's in control now, though.
Should do it from here.
Shouldn't be a problem now. Oh, he's left himself a missable one.
2 goes at it probably, if he needs it. He doesn't. Martin McIntosh has done it at the second time of asking. Mad Mac is through to tonight's final against Sam Bircher. Goodness me, Simon, we have seen some drama on this table at times, but it's about as dramatic as it gets. Martin McIntosh through to tonight's final against Sam Bircher. We will have that for you right when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Masters here on Free Sports. We've not really had a more dramatic finish than that. It was crazy between Dave McNamara and Martin McIntosh. A 6 red shootout to decide the winner after Martin had blown a gimme to go and win the game outright. He then recovered and held his nerve in the 6 red shootout to set up tonight's final. It'll be Martin McIntosh against Sam Bircher. Just talk to me a little bit here, Si. You've been through some weird stipulations in your pool career, I know. How difficult is it for Martin McIntosh here to get his head back straight? Because that was a roller coaster of emotions he's just gone through in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those that he could come out of it and just free up and just be relieved. You know, the fact that he's still in this tournament, the fact that he's got an opportunity to go through tonight when it looked like he'd thrown it all away. Or he could come into this and still be thinking about the fact that he nearly threw that match away. And I think a lot will depend on the first frame, the first visit or two. And if Sam can start off in the final the same way he started off in the previous match and put him under pressure, then it could be a tough one here in the final for Martin. I think if Martin can get the first opportunity and take it, or really settle him down, he'll be back into this match. He'll just be thinking about going through. But it's one that, as the mistakes build, it could get worse and worse. And
I had the chance to have a quick word with Sam Birch just in the break there, and he was watching on from the sidelines that 6 red shootout. First of all, grateful that he didn't have to take part in one, but also he said something interesting. So he was like, he was really glad that Dave didn't quite make it through, because he had the feeling that if David had just got over the line there, he'd have been facing a wounded animal and he wouldn't have missed a single ball in the final.
You may well be right, and one thing we do know is that David really didn't turn up in that match. He performed well under his ability, and when that happens, you get let off the hook. You can really respond in the next, but that hasn't happened. Martin has knocked him out, and Sam will get first opportunity in this match.
It's the biggest upset we've seen so far in the tournament by some distance. I think it's probably the only upset we might have seen. Just trying to think back through the draw, we've seen some maybe slight surprises. Maybe the second favourite's gone through, but that was a big shock.
Yeah, I really thought Sam and David would come through their semi-finals. I thought they were really intriguing matches. I thought they could lose them, but only the reason I'm saying that's a big shock is that I don't think Martin performed in that match either. I think Martin really struggled. He didn't play his best either, and for David to throw away the chances that he did, and considering that Martin wasn't taking out in one visit, I found really, really surprising.
Oh, an early safety for Sam Bircher. And all eyes on Martin McIntosh here. This is that key first visit that you mentioned, Simon.
Yeah, and that's an excellent shot from Martin. Turn the tables on that pocket, although taking the pocket isn't as big an advantage in international 8-ball rules as it is in other rule sets. But I thought Sam might have a chance in that, having a good break, but they didn't really open up nicely for him. Remember, he started off his last match against Morgan with back-to-back finishes from the break.
Clever. It's a lovely shot. Remember, not a foul in international 8-ball rules. And he cancels that problem that Martin McIntosh gave him. Sam Bircher has been tonight's best performer by a distance. Oh, that was nearly a brilliant recovery pot. Didn't even think that was on for Martin McIntosh as Sam returns to the table. But of all the 4 players that we've seen so far, Sam's been the best by a long way. He mentioned to us in his interview that the second half of the match that he had against, in his first match against Morgan, wasn't what he wanted it to be, and he said the shot clock actually upset him quite a bit. Didn't quite adapt to it as he would have liked, and you could see that, couldn't you? Because he looked so comfortable in that opening 5 frames, and as soon as the match sort of getting a little bit itty-bitty, it didn't really suit him at all.
Yeah, but the fact that he's had that 10 minutes or experience in that match is going to really help him if it goes tight and gets to 15 seconds in this match.
Frame.
Yeah, can only help him, I guess, as the first frame goes the way of Sam Bircher. Here he is, and from Wolverhampton. Got a good title to his name, that Golden Q singles title. Some good players in that competition. He's a 2-time UK Tour runner-up as well. Similar to what we've said earlier on about David McIntosh, he's sort of awaiting that first big win to really put him on people's radar, but absolutely no question about it, a real player.
Yeah, I very rarely see him drop his level. You know, plays at a very steady, high standard all the time. He gets deep in a lot of competitions, and
Second frame.
not a player that gets talked about to win lots of competitions either, so almost comes under the radar quite a bit. But he can really play. We've seen that already tonight. Martin's lost the cue ball here quite wildly, but lots of power through the pack and makes a ball, and what a split this is.
Yeah, there's an argument to be said. That's one of the best breaks run on this table. Look at the split. Absolutely amazing.
The way he broke that, is that a sign of frustration for him? Is that a sign that he is annoyed with the way the last match ended and the way this match has started? I know it's only 1-0, but we have already talked about the carryover. It is difficult for the player that plays the second match. I think he's just okay. Should be routine from here. The red in the middle of the table at the top does go in the right centre. And he can just drop this in. 8-ball goes in the centre pocket. Work these out well. All of them on that big break. He's played for it in the same pocket.
I'm still a little bit in shock as to what we witnessed in the last game. I'm still not quite over it, I'll be totally honest with you, ladies and gents.
Frame.
Absolutely amazing. Still can't believe Martin missed that 8 ball. But miss it, he did. Scrambled over the line. Talk about it, it's a tough one for Dave McNamara to take, but I think in reality, as we take a look at the first quarter of the draw here, this is the first last 16 round that we've already got lined up for you. Jordan Shepherd, Chris Manning, Phil Harrison, Rob Chilton all making it through. But I think for Dave McNamara, I don't think he'll be too upset with what happened in the 6-red shootout, because I think he'd already written the game off. He already knew he'd not played well enough, didn't necessarily deserve the win, had already given it up as soon as Martin took that shot all the way down to towards the 0 point. But for Martin McIntosh, the emotional rollercoaster of that last 5 minutes must be absolutely ridiculous. And I tell you what, actually, a very decent amount of credit should go his way as well for holding it together in that 6-red shootout after having that harrowing moment on the 8 ball to win the match. A glaring moment where you've just thought, there's no way he couldn't have thought, I have bottled that. That is all in its mind, all pressure. That is all that is. To then recover, come out, 6-red shootout, know you've got the advantage again, and get a bad break straight off the split. Actually, the mental fortitude to hold it together, I think, deserves a huge amount of credit.
Yeah, I think you're right. It would have been interesting if he'd gone first in that 6-red shootout, but he was helped by David McNamara putting in quite a poor time. I think 42 seconds was enough time that Martin could not coast, but could just make sure he didn't have to rush. He didn't have to try and chase a 25-second, and I think that helped him. Although the first couple of shots did go against him, and he was just panicked for a second. But yeah, you've got to credit him to be able to respond to the way he made those mistakes in the big mistake, I should say, in the match itself.
Sam Bircher back at the table here with a chance. Looks congested, but one shot should fix all of his problems. He just showed us a draft of it there. He's going to get the white ball up into the centre of the table, play that yellow next to the 8 ball into the bottom right pocket. In doing so, he should free the 8 ball out as well. He'll want to play that sooner rather than later. He doesn't want to rely on that as his last ball, just in case of anything going wrong. Just wonder, I think he can land on it now, off this yellow over the middle pocket. It should be plain sailing.
Oh, he's going to leave it. Well, I was going to say he's going to leave it for his last ball. I think he was, the way he's played that. Now he's awkward queuing. He may have to play it.
Slightly strange shot from Sam, I must say.
Yeah, I think he might have been dropping that in thick and trying to actually play on the yellow into the centre pocket, the opposite centre, and he's just caught it very, very thin. Because if he was playing for this pocket, this ball to this pocket now, he wouldn't have played it in that way, I don't think.
No, well, you can see where he was lining it up. He's freed it up okay. It's a great recovery shot. Just wondering, it was almost like he was caught in two minds there. He played half of one shot and half of another.
Yeah, I agree. It's but he has recovered, or he's part recovered, because he's now got an off-angle shot to this top left corner, and it's difficult to get good position on the 8 ball. He may have to just accept bad position, maybe just drop this in. Although he's having a look to cut this back rather than the corner shot. Yeah, it's going to be the cutback. From the main camera, it just looked a shade thin.
Ooh, is he snookered? Yes, he is. You can see there the little nod from Sam Bircher. It's almost like he's just said, you know what? Yep, fair enough. Sort of earned that. He's been fighting this clearance a little bit. He's looking at the double off the side cushion. If he gets it right, it's a spectacular shot, but this is so difficult. Looks easy because you just think you pick your line and you hit a shot that's, what, 8 inches in length, but this is difficult by any margin. He's a long way off it in the end, showing how difficult it was.
It's the sort of shot he would expect to make 1 or 2 times out of 10. He's always going to make really solid contact on the 8 ball. On this occasion, he didn't get it anywhere near the cushion. It has gone safe, so it's not a great table for Martin to try a counter clearance. He may just have to wait for a little while, bump a couple off the table as he's keeping it tight. Which way will Sam go here? He can play this one slowly and just leave the cue ball and 8 ball together.
Off the jaws. Love that shot.
It's an interesting choice because he could get to it from the top cushion, just a one cushion shot, but he wasn't going to be able to move it very far. That's what I was thinking. Would he just come off the top cushion and rest on it, or would he play it with lots of pace? Playing with lots of pace on that angle would have been difficult, and using those jaws just moves it all out a little bit, but it does mean Martin McIntosh has the opportunity to win the frame.
Yeah, and he has to from here, right? Shouldn't really be anything standing in his way. 7-1 outsider to qualify tonight, Martin McIntosh.
I've decided to bump another one off the cushion and keep it tight. I thought he might still go for that simply because I wouldn't say it's a free shot, but with the 8 ball being on the bottom cushion there, you'd fancy him to, you know, to leave it safe.
Hello.
Fault.
Oh, I tell you what. Did think that as soon as he lined it up. You notice the bottom cushion now is free. He'd have made the same connection he had previously. Potted it. In the end, he still very nearly did.
Yeah, just off the red on the way through.
Yeah. Now there can be no mistakes from Martin. All of his difficult balls are out the way. This is potting practice.
So he's waited till the right opportunity to go for it.
Perfect match play, really.
It is, yeah.
Played this frame really well. Beautifully done from Martin McIntosh, 2-1. And there'll be a fair few Martin McIntosh supporters out there getting quite excited about what they're watching so far from him. This is the second quarter of the draw. Obviously, Sam Bircher and Martin advancing through in that sense. Got Tony Blount, Josh Kane, Dom Cooney, Jordan Church look forward to next week. Second one. Foursome is some match that. Dom Cooney, Jordan Church is really difficult to call. Two quality players there. Declan Brennan, Oli Bale is a mouth-watering tie coming up in a fortnight.
Really looking forward to seeing Jordan play in this format. 15 seconds a shot. You'd say he's going to be very comfortable at. One of the quickest players around.
Well, not only is Martin showing some mature match play, he's also breaking like a sledgehammer. Are we about to see a massive shock tonight?
We could well be. We really could. He's actually, I think he looks more comfortable out there now than he did in the first match. Okay, he missed that pot in the first frame, but it was a difficult, really difficult pot in the corner. And, you know, he's done nothing wrong. We had break dish in the second frame, and then he's played that last frame perfectly. Waited for the right time, and then when they were there, okay, yeah, they were all open, but you know, he bumped them open. He's the one that made it nice and easy for himself. So right now, he is playing the pool.
Red ball's in play.
Not sure if he was trying to come down the bottom end of the table or he's just overhit his positional shot. He's leaving that one on the rail at the top of the table, which is arguably his hardest ball. I can see what he's doing here. He's using the red here at the bottom of the table to try and play it off the yellow, which would open up the centre pocket for the red and the 8 ball. It's really good thinking if he's on this red at the bottom of the table. If he's not, then it's not quite worked out. And the fact that he's not coming to have a look at it tells me that he's not on this. You can see from the overhead he can't quite get through to the red at the bottom, so that's now going to become a problem ball.
And he's still just about alive and kicking.
This is where we talk about with Martin that he plays with an extreme amount of belief, and and he does have a lot of ability out there. Especially the big thing about missing that 8 ball was that his potting ability is incredible, but he can just put himself into trouble at times.
And Sam Bircher is not the type of player that you want to put yourself into trouble, because he's such a clinical player. Doesn't tend to make silly mistakes. He's really solid.
Yeah, when you come to the table with layouts like this, he knows he holds the advantage. He's normally very good at making that advantage pay. But this isn't easy for him. 8 ball on the side cushion, yellow right at the top of the table. This yellow here doesn't go. Or when he's overhit that shot. He was trying to snooker Martin on the red in the top half of the table whilst potting his other red. And it's gone horribly wrong for him. Still not easy for Martin. He can cut this back, but cue ball's going very close. Oh, and he's missed the ball altogether. So a little bit of a let-off for Sam Bircher.
Ball in hand.
Big let-off.
Time running.
So he may well give himself an angle on this yellow in the triangle area and just bump into the black. Just rest into it and nudge it on and off the cushion. That's the trickier ball to solve. The one at the top of the table is much easier to solve.
Oh, Sam Bircher.
Foul.
That's incredible. That really is. He can hand pick the angle he wants.
That's terrible. That's so sloppy. Just a moment after I do a little bit about him being such a solid player who doesn't make silly mistakes. What are you doing to me, Sam? You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to pick the angle to release the black, but I guess you'd say, did he need to do it? And he will know, but this is frame ball. Brilliant from Martin McIntosh, 3-1 up.
Well, this match has a very similar pattern developing to Martin's last match. It really does.
I was going to say, I feel like we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Sam Bircher needs to get his head back in the game. Martin McIntosh currently
Frame number 5.
on the way
Sam Bircher
to the last
play.
16.
Training 3 frames to 1.
Sam Bircher needs to arrest the slide. Nearly did it beautifully there.
I thought that was in. I really did. It's the best break he's hit all night, has to be said. Even with the 8 ball not going close, it was still a massive break.
Oh, I can't believe that's not dropped, actually. I'm watching that replay thinking, yeah, that's in.
The other ball's in play.
Well, looking at the layout of the table, he would have really wanted it to stay in, though, because...
Look at that ball. That is almost in the pocket.
Yeah, because the yellows...
Stiff breeze knocks that in.
It certainly does. But the yellows have not come out nicely for him, and reds were no option for him whatsoever. So the fact that 8 ball didn't drop could be quite huge in this frame. I think Sam would rather it had either dropped or stayed in the open, and then he may have considered reds.
Is Sam Bircher the man potting himself into trouble? That's how close he was to 3-2.
He's going to need a couple of doubles. The one he's on now and then the one on the other side of the table. I don't see him trying to move the one on the right-hand side. It's going to be 3 doubles. There's the first one.
Might even be 4. If you really fancied giving us a show. Lovely.
Not sure he's quite got the angle. Maybe just too far up the table, may not.
Oh, he very nearly did.
I thought he was too far up the table and he ended up missing it on the narrow side.
Yeah, I must say, when this looked like it was straight, I thought it must be in. I didn't think he'd get that far over. Martin misses the cannon. Oh, and he's now big odds against to make this clearance now.
Yeah, it was always going to be a tough table for Martin as well, which is why Sam chose reds. Well, Martin wanted that to stay somewhere over the pocket, block this yellow. It hasn't. So Sam's going to take on another double. Oh, this time he misses by quite a distance.
He missed that by so much, he almost turned it into a treble.
Yeah.
Miles off the line here, and this goes as well. He was on line for the treble, he really was. Played it harder, it was in.
I think just how reactive this table is has just caught Sam out in the last frame and a half. That's why he went in off on the last frame when he had cue ball in hand to pick the angle. He just got a little bit too low on the cue ball.
He's getting some serious double and trebles practicing, Sam Bircher.
I don't think he wanted that to drop in, if we're being really honest. I think he wanted this to stay in the middle of the table.
Yeah, I think that tells you you're right. Reds are really difficult here though, aren't they?
They are. Sam would have loved an extra 2-3 inches on that yellow. Martin can play. Oh, I was going to say a bit. I was expecting him to get the cue ball a lot further down the table because he is left a 1 cushion chance here for Sam, and he'll go close to making this. I think that's a bit of an error from Martin. He's going to get away with it.
Fine margins. Reds still are not easy at all. Really aren't. I think it's going to be another safety cover. The yellow again. But this is an easier shot now. That's a risk.
Yeah. Again, he's made a poor choice in my opinion. He should have come. If he can get the cue ball right down to the bottom end of the table, it's much harder to try and make that one over the top, make it the yellow over the pocket off 1 cushion. Coming to this angle, it's a bit easier. I'm actually really surprised that Sam's not gone closer to making that shot.
Yeah, me too.
Time running.
Especially after all the practice he's had at doubles in this frame, you'd think he's got the run of the cushions by now. And now Martin has the chance. Looks pretty straight on this.
He's having a long old look at this one.
Got to pick his angle, remember. Oh, no.
Far.
Did so well to get the white out that far, but the line was all wrong. And Sam Bircher can polish off this frame, and he'll be delighted to do that, because he's not started yet, Sam Bircher. Not started at all. He's back in it, 3-2, with 25.5 minutes left to go. Sam Bircher with a little shake of the head. Needs to get his head back in the game here. He's not started well, but we've seen in the last frame, in the last match, should I say, how good he can be. Martin's just been scrappy this evening. He's had scrappy games. He's had moments of magic. Kept himself in frames and almost waited for opponents to break before he does.
Martin
Yeah, that
McIntosh
was a
to break,
big
leading
moment
3
in this
frames
match.
to 2.
He really should have, because he was only going to be moving the cue ball half an inch to come back as far as he did and left it straight. He should have been nowhere near. He could have left it loads of angle and still been fine. Okay, it was tight, it was delicate, but Martin will be annoyed that, not with it going in off, but he'll be annoyed with the angle he left on that ball. And 4-1 or 3-2 is a big difference.
Yeah, agreed. This isn't an easy chance either off this break. He's breaking really big at the moment, is Martin. He got a first ball. It looks like reds.
Red balls in play.
Martin's turn to be a little bit unlucky because those yellows have come out really nicely.
I was just thinking now, I was surprised to see him not take him on, but I don't think there was an easy opening shot at all.
Yeah, nothing to go at.
And the reds are difficult, and he's missed a tricky-ish sort of pot, but Sam Bircher knows he's not got an easy out here. Probably make a hit, but wants to leave Martin in some trouble at the other side. Good hit from Sam Bircher. He left Martin in a bit of trouble.
He has left him in a lot of trouble here. Blocked off the path to all reds apart from the one he's nearest to. Very difficult for Martin to find a safety here. So he's going to knock a yellow to the top end of the table to basically tie the yellow at the top end up. Clever thinking.
Yeah, just says to Sam Bircher, go on then, you try and win the frame.
The yellow's just gone far enough up the table as well. If it had stopped a little bit short of where it was, you'd fancy Sam to make a skill shot, but it's now in an awkward position. That's why he took it on from where with the shot he just has. It was easier to make with that one than it was from the one at the top of the table. Knew full well that if he doesn't make it, he's not leaving Martin anything to go at. It is just loss of turn, international 8-ball rules.
He was just looking at a screw back here. Might be able to pop the red over the middle. He was. Nearly did it as well.
Yeah, he had a lot going on in that shot. Makes the plant, which is a great shot. Doesn't quite get the contact on the screw back quite right.
I think to get the angle to do that, it meant he would have had to miss the plant. Nearly made that one too. But actually, if he'd have focused all his energy on trying to make that one over the middle, it might have actually been a better shot.
It might have done in terms of result, because you couldn't flick it any thicker playing the shot he did, and it was always going to go awkward. Whereas if he plays the shot you were talking about, then absolutely could have opened everything up, but it would have been a massive shot. But he was in a position where he had to take on a massive shot because there was no real safety for him.
I suppose it wasn't that obvious, but the fact that he saw the angle meant it was on his mind. I was surprised he didn't choose that out of the two options in the end. Sam Bircher here with a good chance to square things back up. It's been scrappy so far. It's been far from free-flowing. Sam Bircher just trying to kick some rhythm into his game as we head in towards these final 20 minutes. Three. Martin McIntosh heads away, and we are going to do the same. It's evenly tied with 20 minutes to go, 3 apiece. Stay with us, this match concludes when we return. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Masters. Martin McIntosh at the table. Sam Bircher missing the 8 ball. Went all the way. Made some great pots. It was a great clearance as it stood. Martin McIntosh opting to make things difficult. This is the moment that Sam Bircher had to win the frame. Awkward queuing. He made a brilliant yellow just before this. Couldn't quite get himself over the line. Is there a way that he can pot this 8 ball? Just having a look, similar to a shot that Dave McNamara played earlier. Don't think this is on though.
It's quite a clever shot from Martin, actually. Yes, he was trying to pot it, but he was playing it in such a way that he knew he wasn't going to be leaving an angle for Sam to do too much with that. And if it drops in, he's on the red to the right centre. So clever little shot from Martin, having run into a little bit of problems with his own counter clearance. Perfect shot from Martin. Easy to get onto the tricky ball now.
On plugging away. He just will not go away, Martin McIntosh. To lead again. And there it is, Mad Mac still hangs around, the underdog. 7-1 outsider at the start of the night. Leads.
It was a little bit unfortunate for Sam with that clearance that he was going for a break dish that we weren't able to see during the break. Potted a couple of really good balls, but just left himself awkward queuing on the 8 ball. If it goes a roll more or roll less, he expect him to make it, and it just left it in the most awkward position.
Let's take a look at him. This is Sam Bircher at the table. Lovely sneaky one. Have a look at this for a yellow. This is a gorgeous shot. Plays it brilliantly.
Martin McIntosh to break.
But he just didn't quite play it with enough pace. Played it with a little bit further, it rolled off the cushion down the side. The 8 ball was a gimme. McIntosh again hammers the break, didn't get the best contact. Has made a ball though, has got an opening shot. It's all on whether he can squeeze past this yellow to the red at the top rail. Not sure he can. We'll find out. Maybe cushion first, possibly.
That's horrible, isn't it? He's actually hit. He's been very unfortunate. I thought it was going to be dry for a second. He is being very unfortunate to leave the ball there.
He doesn't want to leave this because the table's a great table.
It is.
It's just probably the one place on the table that you can't make a ball.
This is going to be a very cagey couple of shots coming up here because
no one wants to blink first. No one wants to hand over this table. It's the keys to the 8th frame. This. It's the only area of the table you're not making a ball.
Have to hit a cushion after contact, which is quite important to remember in situations like these. It would be so easy if that rule didn't exist, just to roll up to the yellow. But has to hit that cushion. This is. Well, that looked like a push shot, but the referee was right there.
Well, he's got a pot he can play.
Oh dear.
Oh, well. It's Martin McIntosh who blinks first, and Sam Bircher now has the chance to go and win the frame. This did go, it was tight. But you can see there's a lot of room there between the red and the jaw that was left as clean air.
That is relief for Sam Bircher because his safety shot, his plan, well, that's gone wrong as well. His plan was to tie this red at the top of the table up with a yellow, and he didn't manage to execute it. Thought he was leaving Martin a great chance, but that first shot from Sam has just knocked a red awkward. not sure. I mean, he's coming around to have a look now. I'm not sure if he can get through to the potting angle of that red nearest the centre pocket.
It's a key frame because heading into the last 10 minutes of this match, Sam Bircher can't believe what he's doing. If you're just tuning in and you maybe missed Sam Bircher's first match, you'd be forgiven for thinking, what is he doing here? Sam was flawless in that first semi-final. Played some of the best pool we've seen on this table in this tournament. And he's not got going in this match against Martin at all. Seen some moments, but he's not been consistent enough.
And it wasn't just that miss at the top of the table either on that previous visit. The first shot was poor, flicking the red, and then that miss at the top. It almost looks like a different player than we saw.
Yeah,
it really does.
Totally agree.
He's under pressure.
10-second shot clock, 15-second shot clock, I should say, about to come into play as well on the 10-minute mark. Martin has a problem ball still. It's that yellow by the middle pocket. Can land on it and take it to the bottom left. That's not an easy shot. It needs to be really precise.
You could just see him pointing his cue. It will be his last ball as well, because if you land on it, then you just drop it in. The 8 ball's there waiting. Nothing to worry about positionally.
15-second shot clock.
And he has a nice angle to try and drift onto it as well. On and off the top cushion. Could screw across, but I feel like it's a nicer angle coming off the top cushion. You're coming more down the line towards it. Oh, he's overhit it.
Yeah, by quite a distance as well. He had quite a big margin for error there. Can he squeeze through to hit the potting angle? Oh, he could. Oh, and he can't believe it's not dropped. Glares at that yellow over the pocket. I did not think he could squeeze through to see that. Sam Bircher now with a great chance to tie it up.
I don't think he could quite see enough of it to pot it centre pocket, but it looked like he had played it perfect weight, so it was just going to drop off that near jaw. Oh, Sam's not hit that one well either. He's got fortunate. He's certainly not playing with that clinical control that we're used to seeing with Sam Bircher.
For sure. No doubt about that whatsoever. Well, with 8 minutes and change remaining, we go all square again, 4 apiece. This stage in the match, Simon, if you're a betting man, where does your money lie? This is so evenly poised.
I mean, no idea, because I feel like strange things are happening this side. There really are. You know, we've seen a lot of chances missed from all 4 players really. Sam in exception in that first match, who was brilliant. But yeah, in this match alone, both players are missing chances, and they both look really, really nervy and really, really edgy here. I have to say, going into a 15-second shot portion of the match, this favours Martin. In a normal 45-second situation, I'm always going to favour Sam, but now we're coming into this shorter race. Martin's done a lot more of it, and he's been in this situation a lot more than Sam has.
That's a gun of a break. Needed that, Sam Bircher, you feel? It's such an advantage when you lead in this final 10 minutes. It's so difficult to chase. You are so under the gun.
Yellow ball's in play.
There's another shot that may just have got away from Sam. Did not want that flick on the red in that way. Wanted it to be a little bit fuller. He's had a quick look to check whether this yellow still goes into the middle pocket. He's not on it at the moment. I think the way he played that shot, it probably is enough room. Well, he's played on it, so this must go. Yeah, you can see there from the overhead. Can't get good position onto the next ball though, so having to play it from the cushion. Very similar to the sort of 8 ball that Martin missed in the previous match, just the other way round.
Oh, no. Only thing I can put this down to is pure pressure.
Extension call.
Sam couldn't miss a ball earlier. Genuinely went, I think, 6 frames before we saw his first missed pot, and he won all of them. It was brilliant. And all of a sudden, this is now getting a little bit edgy, and you almost start to back Martin McIntosh. Not only does the sort of quicker pace suit him, but he's been in these high stakes moments before. Not necessarily in finals of competitions, but we mentioned at the top of the match, he's a prolific money match player. Used to playing for some proper sums. That sort of pressure, if you can survive that, you can survive a lot. And he got through that semi-final against Dave McNamara where he wilted under the pressure. Does that make him stronger? He's going to take the lead here with 5 minutes remaining. You always want to be in front in this final 10 minutes. It goes quick, and Martin McIntosh is back in front. He just will not go away, will he?
He's getting a lot of help from his opponents at the moment, but he is winning the key moments and he is in front. There's very little left in this match and he's in front at the right time. Sam just looks like a player under a lot of pressure. Hasn't been comfortable almost, well, since frame 1 in this match.
Martin McIntosh to break.
Needed 2 opportunities to win that first frame and was able to get them, but since then it's been tricky for him.
That's in so many ways an awful break, but he's made a couple of balls, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, didn't seem to catch that as well. The last few breaks he's had have been absolute sledgehammers, so this one's a bit of a surprise.
Extension call. Red ball's in play.
Good pace he played that shot at. Would have been so easy if he overhits the shot, the yellow goes towards the pocket and blocks the reds. Played it at such a beautiful pace. Actually opened everything up.
Foul. Ball in hand.
You can see his face.
Time running.
I wonder if he expects. You could say he's a touch unlucky, but he was dancing with it a little bit.
I think that's really unlucky for me. I really do think that's. Yes, he knew he was going to get a flick on that and he was going up towards the middle, but it was such an acute angle.
Wants that to stop. Yeah, there it goes.
Could well be heading for another 6-red shootout here. Well, that's not the best shot that Sam's ever played, unless he's nudged this yellow on. And you can see he's having a very good look. It looks tight. No, it must be on. Well, it was tight. It was tight. He's still got control of the frame, but he wanted to take these out in one visit.
That's not a bad little shot.
I think the yellow still goes. Sam just coming around to double check it, and I think he's pretty happy that it does. Sam's just not getting through the ball in the same way he was in the first match. You can see that's a prime example there.
It's almost like he's tense.
Yeah.
He's tenser and he's not flowing.
Just jabbing it, not queuing through it. Should still get out here. The 8 ball doesn't go to the bottom left corner. The red has got in the way of that shot, so could be a delicate 8 ball unless he lands nicely on it.
It's delicate yellow. He's going for the cut. Oh, well played. Hold your nerve, tie things up. 2.5 minutes remaining. Looks about right for a decider.
Frame.
5-all, 2:35 remaining on the watch. One of Martin McIntosh and Sam Bircher is going through to the last 16 of the Masters. He's all on this next frame. Martin McIntosh may not get a chance. That's what he has to live with now that Sam Bircher's won that frame. Sam Bircher here with a good break can keep Mad Mac off the table. If he does that,
Frame
he'll
11.
win. This
Sam
break
Bircher to break.
is the biggest
5 frames
of
all.
the night. The whole night comes down to this. Needs a ball. And Martin McIntosh in the final frame will get to the table. Can he go and win the match here? Let's have a look at this setup. It's not a bad one at first glance.
Yeah, it's okay. A couple of little problems, but nothing unsolvable. Definitely a chance that Martin's going to take on. That was a poor break from Sam Bircher. His worst break of the night in terms of
Red
quality
balls on
of
play.
contact, and he's come at really the wrong time.
It couldn't have come at a worse time. Just when he wanted a ball. Needs that to drop. He's not judged that right. Another twist.
It was a loose positional shot with his first shot of that visit for Martin. There is time here for for Sam. He's going to play a safety first.
It's a good safety too. Great shot.
He's just potentially giving himself less time. Or is it, if he's allowed Martin to come through here, it's the wrong choice altogether.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
I think Sam's made a bad call there for me, because there isn't quite enough time to play those. Oh dear.
And
Another
Martin
miss for Martin.
turns the table over. Not a foul, but Sam's back at the table. Martin missing that red at the top right. The missed pot. Just as bad as a foul at this juncture, really. 1 minute left to go and win it.
Extension call.
I don't know whether Sam's really worked this one out. He's not rushing like a man that needs to pot 6 balls in 50 seconds. And his last visit to last visit to the table, he played a safety when I thought he'd need to go game. These are all there for him.
Is it going to be another dramatic finish? That's a great positional shot. Threaded the needle. 2 from home.
That was brilliant. So easy to overhit that shot. Excellent.
1 from home. With 15 seconds on the clock. Sam Bircher to go in front. Oh, what a clutch finish. There will be time left on the watch, but Martin McIntosh is going to need a golden break to force a 6-red shootout.
You could see Martin coming in to congratulate Sam, not realising that he was going to have time to have this break. The clock does stop when the referee is racking the balls. And you have to say, Sam timed that clearance to perfection. I thought he might be going a little bit too slowly, but absolutely perfect.
And that was control under pressure. That was him managing it beautifully. Something he's not done brilliantly in this match. Martin McIntosh then, all on the line. Can he make the 8 ball off the break? It's in motion. No, though. And the match is over. Sam Bircher has done it. Sam Bircher qualifies through to the last 16. He'll play Carl Sutton in the last 16. Superb work from Sam Bircher to get it through. What a dramatic finish, Simon.
It really was, and that was a match full of mistakes from both players, and we thought Sam was, if he played the way he did in the first match, would probably go on and, with the way Martin played in his first match, probably go through fairly comfortably. But Martin kept edging in front, and the more he edged in front, the more difficult it got for Sam. He got edgier and edgier, and he looked just a shell of the player from the first match. But I have to say, that clearance he made under pressure, with the factoring in the time, the shot clock and everything, was by far and away his best visit to the match, and he's just about edged it, and I think it will be a sense of relief when we get to speak to him.
Yeah, I should say. Do stay with us. We'll speak to Sam when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Masters. That is the scene from where plenty of drama took place this evening. At the end of it all, Sam Bircher comes out on top. Sam joins us now. Sam, first of all, congratulations. That was a dramatic match, a tough match. What does it feel like to get around the other side of it?
I'm glad it's over, to be honest. That's all I got to say about that.
It looked hard work out there, but both of you weren't at your best, both of you struggling. How difficult is that to be a part of? Because at some point you just forget about playing well and it's just about getting the next ball, isn't it?
Yeah, I think at the start it was kind of one of them matches. I think if one of us had played better, the other one had kind of gone with it, but it just didn't happen. It was just like a twitchy game.
And how are you feeling when you got that chance with 50 seconds left and you can see 5-6 balls in front of you? Did you think, right, this is my moment, I've just got to step up to the plate here?
Yeah, to be honest, the last time I played here, I was like on a finish and just took a little bit too much time and not give myself a chance. So I was like, I didn't know if I got time for an extension or what, so I just took it and then ran round quick.
It worked out for the best. Hey, look, you've made it through to the last 16. You're now amongst some esteemed company in that competition. Now, how much are you looking forward to being back?
I'm not even sure what section I'm in or anything, to be honest. I'm not sure who.
You've got Carl Sutton in the last 16, I can tell you. That's a pretty good draw.
Yeah. Yeah, I played Carl a few times. Obviously, he plays World Rules, so I look forward to that. I'll get on with him as well. He's a nice guy, so.
Yeah, well, we can't wait to watch. It should be an entertaining game, especially if you bring us your A game like we saw in that first match. Congratulations on the performance tonight.
Cheers, thank you.
Si, it was a tough night, but Sam got over the line.
Yeah, there was some drama out there, a very edgy and nervy match there against Martin. It was very similar to the match that Martin played against David McNamara as well, but I think on the night, in terms of the player that's played the best pool, I think Sam Bircher certainly did overall and deserves his place in the last 16, and that should be a cracking match with Carl in the last 16. Both players can play some very high quality pool.
Yeah, and then we see next week's lineup as well. Tony Blount, Josh Kane, Dom Cooney, Jordan Church. That's what awaits us next week as we move on to week number 7 of the Masters here on Free Sports. It's given us drama, if absolutely nothing else. The pool standard tonight wasn't up there, but in what came out of it was drama all the way to the very end. At the end, Sam Bircher is the man who qualifies through, and delighted he will be to do just that. Thanks for your company tonight. We've loved having you here on the Masters on Free Sports. We'll see you same time, same place next week on Monday night. Until then, goodbye.